ESPN commentator Sage Steele was suspended and taken off the air for comments she made on a podcast. Among them, she questioned vaccine mandates, but she also seemingly attacked former President Barack Obama over his choice in racial identification. Steele is half black and half white and identifies as biracial, but she criticized Obama for identifying as black despite having a similar racial mixture. Is there anything to her comments? Is there something wrong with black people picking a side, in quotes there? Does this create a sort of biracial erasure? Or should we focus on black pride by identifying as such, no matter what our ethnic history is? All right, Fanatiq, if you can mute, we can hear you. Back. Yeah. But yeah, so this is pretty straightforward. There was a woman worked for ESPN. She was biracial herself, half black, half white, and she kind of went at Obama for choosing to be black, right? Or her comments weren't like super divisive. Like they didn't. She didn't say some like terrible bigoted stuff or anything like that. But it was, I don't know. I guess it was within a negative light. Any case, she also had issues with how people had commented about her own ethnic background, and as in her like picking more than one, like not picking a side, not being just black or white or whatever, right? So it seems like it's something that was building up within her, and she let it out. And it was, and so she got suspended for it. So one, I'm wondering, like, she should have been suspended at all for her comments. And two, like, do you think that she was onto something? All right, let's go to Azzy. Oh man. Oh man, here we go. And in a second, when
this, brothers and sisters,
okay,
is just the plight of the disgruntled biracial child. I feel for y'all. I feel for y'all. All right, I love you guys. Yeah, I accept you as kindred. You know, you're of my kin. But we gotta be careful when we have those people get up on matter of fact, the podcast itself, clearly a conservative podcast, conservative white podcast. They're advertising for the NYPD. We know where she aligns herself. All right, we know where her allegiance is. All right, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Okay. So I'm not gonna be out here trying to say like, oh, I understand what she's going through. Nah, there is no reason for her to be talking about Obama, all right, and his dad. I don't think having your black dad around makes you, more black, okay, or less. I don't think having a black dad gives you a black card, okay. So I just don't understand. She thought she was free. She thought nobody listened to the podcast. She thought it was after hours on, and she was saying some nonsense. Her comments on COVID. All right, I understand how we feel about, the vaccine. I am vaccinated. I'm not going to advocate for or against the vaccination, but there is no reason for her to be talking about her employer unless she just like she's going to start working for home or for Amazon. Didn't make any sense to me. She should have shut her mouth, and just talked about football. I feel like I'm quoting Fox News right now, but but it is what it is.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks so much. All right, let's go to Chris Cosmo.
Yeah. I agree. She should be suspended, and they should have a talk with her. I don't think she should be fired. I hope she's not going to get fired. Her comments about Barack Obama and the whole multiracial thing, that's interesting. I have a story about like this, like literally a few days ago, there was a marathon in my city. Like a lot of bus routes got cut off, so I had to take an Uber. I got in this woman's car. Like I could have swore she was just a Midwestern white woman. Like I had no idea. And we started talking, and she starts talking about how like us blacks have to, do all this stuff, and like being black in the city is so crazy. And I'm like, like so like I guess she was multiracial, and how she chose to identify, even though she was white passing, is I've ever seen a person, right? That's an interesting conversation to have. Her comments about the vaccine, come on, like with her job, you have to know that your job's going to crack down on that, especially like if it's like something they have mandated for them to be able to continue to operate. Like you're going to have to expect your job to come down on you for that. And then she made some other comments about women's dress, how the women dress and things like that. She just made a whole bunch of weird statements. I understand, like, she's on the podcast, she want to talk some stuff, but like, this is kind of dangerous. And some of the things she was saying is like, it's kind of crazy. Of course, her job's gonna have to come down on her and like say some, like, talk to her and like be like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like, you're putting us all at risk. You're giving us all a bad look. So it's understandable. I wouldn't expect any different from any other company.
Okay, let's go to Django.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what the context of was when they brought that up, when they started talking about Obama and being biracial and not identifying as black. I understand that in a lot of ways, like media being a big one, people have some issue with seeing like light skinned people getting roles of like where dark skinned people should be and stuff like that, right? So I can understand that type of discussion, but this is I'm not even sure why it matters in the fact that like, so he chose to identify as black. I mean, most of the population sees him that way. I don't think that's the craziest thing to do. It just didn't seem that insane that like, oh, well, his dad wasn't there, so he's less black. He should be calling himself biracial and mixed. Like, it just seems odd to me. I don't know what the conversation was that led to that, but whatever it is, I mean, there had to be some justification, I hope, but that's all I got.
Okay, Pop. Yeah. No, brilliant. I agree. Just beautiful points being made.
Yeah, wasn't he talking smack about me, right? He was
Of
clearly
course,
talking
you know.
smack. How you make the same?
I always talking smack about Azzy. Yeah, I was gonna say
Ridiculous.
I mean, the comments she made were like very light in terms of things that like she could have said, right? But at the same time, I think it kind of like it goes back to this narrative I talk about a lot. Is I just hate when black people try to gatekeep blackness. Like at the end of the day, like why do black people try to always find like reasons to divide us from other black people? I've talked about it a lot on this panel, like how like when I was in school, I was like really nerdy, and like nerdy people just weren't black enough, you know. I go on the internet because I don't have a very black sounding voice, and I have to like literally pull up my camera because people don't believe I am who I am. I'm black, right? Or like mixed people, it's like, oh well, mixed people, you know, you're mixed, you're not really black, but then like they can't go out there saying they're white because everybody's gonna be like, that ain't true. Like I feel like instead of trying to like create like divides between groups of people, like we can understand that like black can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and there can be a diversity of different black experiences, and there's no reason to comment on like the genetic makeup of someone when they're trying to identify as black, assuming that they're like without, I mean, not.
Sorry,
I don't.
that was a car
that
going
gets to,
by. But go ahead.
I mean, we can talk about it more because that gets into some weird shit with like white people like trying to be black. But like at the end of the day, yeah, I think it gets like a little weird where it's like, oh, you're only like 1/4 black. Like, did you really like? Did you grow up in the hood? Like, are you really black? I think that starts to get like really weird. But we could just be like, hey, like, black. If you're black, you're black. And you like, it's. I think it's like one of those things where you kind of know it when you see it, and like, just empathize with people.
Yeah. Again, sorry, car going by very, very, very loudly. All right, let's go to Fanatiq.
Yeah, I think this kind of goes on to the thing I had spoken about earlier about the mixed experience in this country, but the biracial experience in general, and how difficult and kind of nebulous it can be. and especially when it comes to someone's like sense of belonging and identity. The thing is that no two people feel identically on these kinds of issues. So then, when she's speaking about her lived experience, right? And I guess maybe like for her, she's like maybe more identified as white. But you know, I understand different people can feel different ways about different things, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think regarding her thing about the vaccine mandates being sick, I don't know that that was a fireable offense. It sounds absolutely absurd to me. She's vaccinated. She believes in vaccines for herself, and probably believes in vaccines for most people. She just thinks that the idea of them like heavy-handedly mandating it is pretty ridiculous. Fortunately, in most of these cases, they're not actually mandating vaccines. Most of the time, what they're doing is they're saying you have to be vaccinated, or there's a caveat, you can be tested regularly. And I think those kind of things make sense. Um, I don't think that she said anything that's crazy. Barack Obama he's a black man. You know, the fact is he's also a white man, and I've often noted the fact that he's not fully black. He is partially white, and I don't think that there's ever a place where you have to deny your experience for who you are. But the thing is, I understand that like different people identify with different things, and maybe for him, like he recognized that with his skin color, he most likely is going to be he's going to always be looked at primarily as a black man. You know, we've obviously had the one drop rule and things like that. However, there are very white passing people who might decide for, you know, advantages in society to label themselves as white. You know, varies from person to person. I'm not going to fault him either way. I think she's overreaching by like projecting how she feels onto him. I don't think he did anything wrong, and I don't think she did anything wrong. Well, maybe the projection is probably wrong, but definitely not a fireable offense. The freak.
Okay. All right, open to the panel.
I looked a little bit more into the context. I could only find a little snippet earlier. It seemed as if I guess they were talking about why she identifies as biracial, and then she brought up Obama. I think in that little wider context, I think the really thing that was out of pocket was like mentioning the dad part. It's just it literally has no part of the conversation. I don't think it like if you have a fully black kid raised by like adopted into a white family, you wouldn't say that kid's less black because of that. I mean, that's just the weirdest view on it ever. It's like when people walk up to me and like, because I had this a lot of, I went to a very white school, right, white and Hispanic, and a lot of them would not see me as like what they expected a black guy to look like, or biracial, to be fair. But I wasn't what they expected, so they would always question how black I was, or they would like be like, "You're not." They would. One kid said I wasn't black because I just straight up wasn't dark enough, so I must be Mexican. I don't know what that meant, as if like that just makes my parents disappear. Whatever, it is what it is. It's just this weird concept that like, if I'm not what you expect me to be, why am I not that now? If that makes sense. But anyways.
If you're talking Fanatic. Yeah, we can't hear you, buddy. But yeah, well, we'll get to you.
Yeah, before we start,
there we go. There we go.
Yeah, listen, I'm sorry that entirely missed the point. I think what she's getting at is something that I've recognized, where like you'll see people like that are mixed people, like your sense of identity oftentimes comes from your parents or like your elders and things like that. And so in Barack's case, it didn't make sense necessarily. What she was saying was that it was weird that he chose to identify as black, considering he was raised by his white mother and his white grandparent, and that's where he spent like his formative years. So I think that's what she's getting at, and I think that is it's a reasonable thing. Like for example, I have a very white passing cousin, and she put on all of her resumes black, and she just always had, and her husband also happens to be biracial, and one day he questioned her on that, like, wait, what? You put black on your resumes? Why? Like, you would get so much further had you put white. And she was like, I just never thought I'm black, so I've always done that. The thing is, in her life, yeah, she's been questioned for being like whether or not she's actually black or not. The thing is, her mother is black. And so that's who raised her. And so it makes sense that her identity would come from that. Like my mother is black, all of my family, my cousins and everyone else is black. I'm black, so then I'm going to put black on my resume. So in Barack's case, it's the exact opposite. And we've seen this thing play out that way. We've seen like cases where there are like white people, I'm sorry, mixed people who are white passing, who refer to themselves as almost white exclusively. So I understand like that questioning. It's not necessarily saying that he's not black. I think she, as a biracial person, she obviously, and I'm still making her point here, she obviously understands that he's a mixed person. But you can understand someone's a mixed person, but still recognize like, it seems weird that you chose to abandon the identity that you most spent the most amount of time around, and that should have been something that reasonably you could expect someone to identify with.
Yeah, that's why I thought this was like an interesting question for her to pose. I don't think I didn't watch the video clip. I'm just reading her quotes, so I'm not sure if it like if in the video comes off more malicious than it seems to me. I don't think it's that malicious or like talking about it like he has this experience. Why not identify more as multiracial? For me, I think it's more of a political thing. Like I'm the first black president, I'll identify as that. But more than that, he just like you look at him, you never know he was biracial for most normal standards, right? You assume he's just straight up black guy. That's it. But I think that's where like the nuance in this conversation really does come from. I don't really have a problem with that conversation more than I have a problem with the other things. Like not too much the question, like her
I'm gonna put my hand back.
her like disagreement with the company's policy on the vaccine mandates. I understand why the company comes down on that. I'm for vaccine mandates. That's just me. But the comments about like women's dress and like how they should be more modest and things like that. That came off a little weird too. I think it was just like a combination of like all this that just like seemed weird. That like to ESPN, it was just like, wait, like did this conversation warrant all these things that you had to bring up? Like this is like we have to cover all of this now. Like you said a bunch of things that could like put us in a bad light. I think that's more the case of what's happened with her.
I want to challenge something, but I'll let you guys go first.
I mean,
Yeah,
I-
like I think you guys are being way too charitable to these comments. Like basically she said it as if like Obama was betraying his white mother and white grandparents. That's basically, and then when I like analyze her and her background, like I listened to the podcast. If you click on the links, you get a link to the podcast, who she's talking to. Like people aren't this dumb, like or aren't this innocent. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt, or maybe she doesn't mean this. No, she was basically saying, hey, Obama, your dad was never around. You hung around a bunch of white people. You were influenced by white people, and now you're kind of like turning on. He just chose black. He's like, I don't, and she said as if it was perplexing to her. It's fascinating to me considering his black dad was nowhere to be found. Like there's some type of conundrum, as if the black experience isn't something that is very significant within America. But what I'm saying, and I'm basically saying like, hey, she says I'm biracial. She might as well just say, hey, I'm white. I feel like that's what she was pointing to without, she was saying it without saying it. She was like, she'd rather say I'm white. You just look at, how how she moves, who she talks to, who she aligns with, who she married. I'm not saying that's like any specific thing, but when you make comments like this in conjunction with all of this, is what other perception am I supposed to get? It was a poignant comment. This wasn't something benign. Like we can just no, she
I'm saying
said,
I don't think it's benign. I think it was like I don't know the context of the conversation. Like, is this the free flowing thing where this topic came up and they were like having a discussion around it? The comment about the dad is weird. I agree with that. Like that just
it's
like,
more than weird. It's almost
yeah, it's out of the blue. But it'd been funny if Barack Obama came out like as trying to be a white president, like identified as white. That'd have been hilarious. But like I can understand her question and like why didn't he choose to identify as multiracial? But that's not like she said, that's like his choice. Like, and I believe that's up to any biracial individual, like how they want to choose to identify. Honestly, like,
but then there was no need for the vindictive comments. There was no need for that. There was no need for that.
I mean,
if she was just, it's kind of like hiding behind, and this is what I said, like she's kind of masking the vitriol with behind the biracial stance. And I understand the biracial stance because it's a very intricate thing of it in and of itself. Like that's a very delicate thing in and of itself, and that's a very experience. I will never understand the biracial experience. I'm not biracial. I have my parents have many demographics in them, but we identified as black. People see them as black. 2 black people came and had me. Even people think I'm not black most of the time. Even black people think I'm not black, but I still say, hey, I'm black. And yes, and yes, even in your comment section of this channel, people say, oh, is he black? Is he Indian? What is he? I've had Indian people come up to me and say, hey, brother, start speaking to me in their foreign language. And thought I was like Sudanese or whatever. But I'm never out here saying, why I'm not making comments like this. As somebody who identifies as black, I just don't, I'm not gonna give charity to these comments, but
I mean, to be fair, like what sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say I have a friend who is mistaken for Indian as well, and she's definitely black. Sorry, but go ahead, Django. And then Adam wanted to say something.
There is a pretty true aspect to what he's saying about like the vitriol in it is pretty bad. Like to say like the comment alone of hey, he can do what he wants, that doesn't sound very bad. But when you pair it with like, well, his dad was never around, he was raised by his white parents, but you do you, like it's pretty dismissive of what he's doing.
But it's not. Given the context I gave earlier, that doesn't sound like a reasonable explanation for why she would be making that stance, and it's something that's probably not like vitriolic necessarily, but just like a genuine questioning of like why that makes any sense. Like, how does that not how does that not fit?
Because it's these jokes, and I just like I said, it's a conservative white space, and it's the jokes that you hear, behind closed doors. Like I said, I bet you she thought nobody listens to this podcast. She probably had a few drinks, and then the real, the stuff in her heart started to come out. The real, Sage Steele started coming out, and she started, I'm with my people. We're gonna throw our jokes around, and she said something real. And real sinister, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And now she's getting checked.
When the line, like, I think it's fascinating considering blah, blah, blah. Like, you are basically ridiculing the fact that he's like, he announces himself as black, but you look at him and you're like, well, you're biracial. That's basically what she's saying. It's like, you're biracial. Come on, like, your dad wasn't there. Like, you're biracial. That's kind of, I mean, with the context of everything, you kind of can't look at it in a void of, like, just reading the words and not reading between the lines there. Like that's even if she doesn't mean that, that's how it comes across, unfortunately.
It sounds like you said.
I feel like I read it and I found.
I don't know.
You gotta listen to it.
I would agree if it wasn't for the fact that she is biracial herself and identifies as biracial, right? So like, herself being like, hey, I had a black and a white parent and I identify as biracial, and like. I personally don't know why Barack Obama wouldn't identify as biracial when he grew up in a white family. Now, there's a ton of reasons why, right? And obviously, like it's, I would say like an ignorant thing to say because there's so many reasons why like a biracial person would rather identify as black. We don't like Obama grew up in like Indonesia and like Hawaii, right? Like. I have no idea what the black experience is like in those two places at all. And so like to say that like so like obviously there's lots of reasons he could have like identified the way he does, but like I think it can come across as pretty genuine for her to say like yeah like I don't understand why he made the choice he did because like I made the choice I did and like this is the choice that makes sense to me. And so like maybe she was like judging him like a little bit for the choice he made, but I don't think it came from a place where she was like trying to discredit like his choice or discredit his blackness more so than just like saying like I feel like I'm in a similar situation as you, yet you made a different choice than I did, which is hard for me to understand.
That's literally what I said earlier. Let's see if it actually resonates this time.
Yeah, I mean I agree with you. Yeah.
But nah, yeah, no. No. Listen, stop being around this. But we're come from the same place. No, she didn't. It's not. No, even if she meant we're both biracial, yet you identify as black. the comment afterwards, even, and she has her father. Her father was like the first black basketball. Oh, I see, said basketball, football player. What was it? What's his name?
In the specific
Well,
military.
yeah,
In-
not
yeah.
in
from
the
West Point.
military, in the specific military for
Yeah.
West, was it West Point? So like, her father was present, but as I start reading more about her, she says, "Oh, my mom is the biggest influence on me. You know her. You know, I idolize her. I do everything around her." So I'm just like, based upon her character, right? These comments aren't just, like I said, they aren't just benign, innocent comments. If you listen to the podcast is a very political space, right? She's not just saying these out of the blue. I'm not going to give her the charity. And then she doesn't even know how Barack Obama may be saying, hey, I'm biracial in other spaces. We don't know. Biracial people can identify as both.
I mean,
And
yeah, but like,
literally.
why is our assumption that she's like doing this terrible thing, right? Like, I'm not like
Because it is terrible. It's not no assumption.
Right?
It was
But,
it was bad.
But
You-
like, or let's say the assumption that she's like coming from this terrible place. Like, I mean, honestly, like if I'm not biracial, a lot of kids when I was younger used to think I was because I had fair skin. But like, both of my parents are black, so I don't know what it's like to be biracial. But I could understand that like a lot of biracial people out there in the United States could be like, hey, look, he could have been our president. He could have been the biracial president. Why didn't he identify with us? Why did he have to go full black, right? Like, this is something like, and not to say that these feelings are like necessarily legitimate, right? But like, I can understand why someone might feel that way. And like, I don't know why instead of like just reading what she says is the way she said it, we have to go into this thing where we like try to analyze her psyche and say like, oh my god, she's actually this like racist biracial person who hates real black people and like all this stuff. Like, we're like, I feel like we're like ascribing so much like hate to this person who doesn't necessarily have it.
I'm not saying she's hateful or racist. I'm saying that this was a very, number one, the whole stereotype of the black father not being present is already there.
Yeah,
It's like there's a bunch of things she could have chose her words wisely. You know, she works in media. She could have chose her words better.
She
decided to say this.
I think this is media, okay? She talks about like people on like the sidelines of like Sportsgate. I don't even know what sports she covered. She's not out here like carefully crafting statements about race every day. Like, just because you work in like the media space doesn't mean you're ready for every conversation that could happen in any sort of media. I bet if you put like one of us on like a fucking makeup panel, we wouldn't know like any idea about like the things that people say on those things or like how to craft statements for it, just because we've like been on streams and stuff. Like,
but she works there daily. She works there daily. She's the countdown for.
She's a sideline reporter for sports, dog. She's not out here talking.
So she
about,
works
like,
in the space.
Issues.
She's in the space, and the NFL is a highly racialized space in America.
Okay,
so to survive in that environment, you have to know. You have to be able to navigate the space and understand the dynamics that are going on. So I'm not going to give her the pass. I'm not going to be charitable. I'm not being mean. I'm not just out here to attack her name and disparage her, but I'm saying she should have been a lot smarter. And based upon the outlook of her of the lifestyle choices she's made, even being on the podcast was a choice.
I just think it's weird that you're even talking about like the lifestyle choices she makes and stuff like that. That's like a weird thing.
Well,
you know nothing about
that's
this
what
woman.
I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. Her comments don't come off as innocent based upon who she is. It's like if Obama said, it's like when Trump was Trump starts making racist comments and then everybody starts analyzing him and saying, where would this come from? Where does this come from? They start analyzing his character and his life choices.
I don't know if
I'm going to do the same thing.
If this is the only comment she made with this conversation, I wouldn't see a reason for her to get suspended or fired, right? And have multiple like multiracial people have the same conversation about how they identify, how they choose to identify, and their questions about how others identify, right? I don't think like this. Yes, there was some weird and like the especially thing about her dad is like that is pretty. I think about Obama's dad is pretty insulting, right?
It's insulting.
Okay,
But
no, Chris, you keep doing that. You keep doing that. I feel like that was addressed. Can we
She
please?
didn't get fired
we
because of what
please
she said
address
about
that?
her
That's what I'm
about
saying.
race,
No.
right?
I feel like I
She got her
addressed
fired.
it,
She
and then
didn't.
now Top Dolphin addressed it. Both of us have gone through and explained that to you, and you just keep on like almost. It seems almost like you're 100% ignoring everything we're saying, so that you can keep making this same point that I feel like we've already addressed. So let's get to the bottom of that, please. Like,
Please.
what is so harmful? Do you think it's reasonable? Do you think it's reasonable for her to be able to make this statement that
No.
considering the fact that you were raised by your mother, and your dad wasn't in the picture, and you're in a biracial family where the black population is extremely low in this state, and you were raised in Hawaii by your white mother with great influence from your white grandparents, it seems strange for you to have abandoned your white side and solely identify as black, considering your early influences and the direct guardianship and all those things in your surrounding environment were all very white, and your dad, the person who contributed to the black side, was not there. Do you think it's reasonable for her to question the why he would choose to make that decision considering all of those things? Is that fair or not?
Yeah,
Is
but
that Chris?
to Chris. Okay.
Oh no, I agree. I think that's fair. I think the way
Okay,
she
so then why
phrased
do you
the
keep
part.
doing it?
No. I just said the part that how she phrased like your black like that was nowhere to be found. I think for me that's a little bit insulting. But the overall conversation that she's having, the question she's posing, I don't think it's a problem. Which is why I said if this was the only thing she said in this conversation, I don't think she should have been suspended or fired. I think this is a
Give me
combination
the
of all
rest.
these
What
things.
else did she say? What else did she say in this context that would have like that would have been the smoking gun or whatever? What like because clearly that's not anything that's harmful in and of
I
itself.
think it's
So then what
really
would have been
simple.
the thing that was problematic
I think it's
regarding the
really
dad thing?
simple.
Hold on. I don't want us to be talking about like, well, no, there's other things. This is the final point that I'm talking about right now, the race thing. Now, if you guys want to just start lobbing in all of these unrelated things and say that's a problem, that's fine. But multiple times now, you've all, not all, but a few of you, you've made the statement.
I think it's only been me.
Like the dad thing
It's
was
only
really
been us.
insulting. Okay, no, you said it. You literally.
No, I said it was insulting, but not enough
Right,
to get her suspended.
right, and that's what
Like-
I'm getting at. It's not insulting. Clearly, there's
What?
a context that is completely reasonable. We've all provided it. So I'm asking you and you keep saying, well, there's other stuff too. Was there anything else related to that specific thing that would have been insulting, that would have given you the impression that it's insulting? Because I think there is a very perfectly reasonable and valid interpretation for why she made that statement that is neither insulting nor rooted in racism or any of the other nefarious things that you would attach to
Fanatic,
it. And I
didn't
feel like
you
I'm giving
listen to me?
explanations, and then every time you double back and say, well, yeah, that comment about his dad, as if we didn't already explain that one away. So what are you basing that off of then?
I don't think you listened to me at all because I literally said the comment of talking about the
That was
absent.
directed at Chris Freak.
I know, but Chris isn't the one. He said there's nothing wrong with the comment. So why are you over analyzing his? It was insensitive. She wouldn't have gotten suspended if it wasn't insensitive in this current climate.
Well, I mean, you could definitely get suspended for something that's
really.
You can get suspended for something that's not insensitive, but people see it as insensitive, right? Like if a comment really doesn't mean anything bad, but everyone interprets it as something bad, you can get suspended for that.
Let's be really, really clear. She got suspended for nothing to do with the race comments in this. She 100% got suspended because she worked for ESPN. ESPN made a vaccine mandate, and she publicly went against her company's policy and spoke about it. Right? Like that's 100.
We're assuming that.
That's come on. Like that's
the biggest issue. Right? One of the biggest issues in the country right now.
Like I'm pretty sure if I went out on public platform and spoke out against like one of my company's internal policies, I'd get fucking suspended. Like that's like a big no. Like the race stuff was kind of there in the same conversation, and like maybe that's why people are trying to link these two. But if we're talking about the race stuff that she talked about, we shouldn't be talking about the suspension because the suspension is absolutely not related. Like I don't know why we would even think that like she got suspended for the race comments. They're so not. It looks so bad to suspend a biracial woman for talking about black stuff, right? And about black experience. Like ESPN wouldn't do this shit.
What? They wouldn't? Are you serious?
Not for like like a biracial woman, black, like mostly like she like seems black in all the contexts, right? Mostly her talking about race on a podcast like about sports, and she didn't say anything so like damning that she should be suspended. Yes, I feel like the comment about Obama's dad is a little insensitive, not to the point of suspension at all, right? Like it's just like a little jab in there. But like nothing like crazy was like this question has been posed before by other multiracial people, by black people. This conversation has been had before. I don't see a problem with it. I see a problem with the vaccine mandate comments. I see a problem with the way women's addressed comments. Like right, like
What?
I think in combination, like those things like cause a big problem. Like if there was just the racial context, it was just that race conversation, this wouldn't have been an issue. This wouldn't have been much of a conversation to be had because they wouldn't have covered it that much. Right. I think just in combination with everything, like this whole conversation that went down, that's why she got suspended, mostly for the vaccine mandate stuff.
Yeah, I think you can even throw the women's stuff out. I think anybody who goes out publicly and talks about an internal policy and speaks against it for that, even if it's not COVID-19 vaccine, my company could require like that we all wear seatbelts on trucks while we're driving or something. And if I went out publicly and spoke against my company's policy, it was like, yo, my company that I work for, this policy is a piece of shit. It might suck, but I'm gonna get suspended for that 100%. Like I don't know why people are trying to like ascribe like politics to like why she got like suspended.
Hold on. I want to add a little bit more context as to why she got suspended now. Like because she made other comments in the past. These are old, but like she made comments in the past, and so this might have been on their mind. In 2017, she took to Instagram in January to complain about crowds protesting President Trump's travel ban. She blasted NFL players who chose to kneel during the national anthem and cut short an interview with Arcade Fire's Win Butler when she began to voice her political opinion after last year's Celebrity All-Star Game, which I guess it would be. Oh,
how is this not political?
She says, and then she makes some comments about like the worst racism she ever experienced was from other black people, but she doesn't explain exactly what that is, like what those words are. I'm guessing like maybe an Uncle Tom type situation.
Come on, guys.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I want to hear from Django because y'all been taking L's. What you got from me, Django? Please,
Okay,
brother, please.
All of that
So,
really
hold
Django, please.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna send my brother a Kofi hat, bro.
She's like denying her own company's policy, like in the same podcast, but she got like suspended for the race take.
So there's no point in going. Okay, listen, I understand that like maybe the suspension wasn't for that. That's whatever. Honestly, I don't know why that matters that much. So we'll take that out of the conversation. Cool. When we have to at least agree that someone's past comments do matter. Fanatiq kind of went on it. I'm not sure if you want to respond fully. You do agree that like someone's past comments kind of come into play when they make a new comment that's put into question. You have to kind of bring on those old ones and look at them and be like, is this
100%
weird?
I don't go out in public, right? I don't go. Okay. I was gonna say I don't go out in public.
Of course I do, but that's why I asked you for those comments, right? Like because like it sounded like people were trying to make these arguments, and I kept saying, well, I don't know where these arguments are coming from. These statements, the things that are listed, don't seem to really prove your point at all. So I'm asking you, what are you basing this on?
Sure, yeah, I understand that. Well, hold on. So second thing, real quick. Second thing, just to kind of knit it a little cleaner. We also should probably understand that it's.
Wait! Don't say also. Like you just made a point. Your past comments should have come into thing.
Sorry.
Unless you said that for no reason. What are the past comments?
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. I'm just mentioning something.
I mentioned them already.
I wanted to back something. We can go down that further.
But that was the first point. Why are we moving on to another one?
Sure, let's go on.
I've been knocking at that door forever, asking you, what the hell else are you talking about? Because I explained it away, then you repeated it, then I explained it away. I mean, then Top Dolphin reiterated it, then you repeated it. Now you're just vacuously saying,
my brother, please. We can always go
again,
back.
almost like trying to reaffirm this thing that you did already that we've already addressed twice now, and now you want to just move past it. Are there any other comments that are actually mattering, or else you guys are just literally making this from nothing? You're saying it from nothing.
No, we're gonna address
No. We can go down that. It's not gone. My bad for saying also. Okay, wrong usage of a word. Relax. Okay.
Sure. Okay, it's the word now. Okay.
It was a word that you were like, well, it's not established, and that's fine. Cool. It's not established. We can go down it later. I was just gonna address something. fucking forgot. I was going to say something that the Fanatic mentioned that we should definitely take into account is that like these statements aren't like super prepared statements. She may be making a lot of political statements, but it's not like she's not like writing this down in like she's gonna like announce all this political talk. She probably just came off the cusp. Something that could have been said that sounds really malicious might have just been a poor usage of words, and we probably need a little bit more substantiation before we can say like she meant something deep by this. I'll agree to that. Like it is kind of a leap for us to say like she meant something pretty derogatory. We kind of have to like that's a leap unless we can back it up pretty severely. That's
Okay,
all
now, okay, good. Okay, now, let's go back to the original thing that you were running from. What are the other comments, the previous comments related to the dad thing that you feel validate your erroneous interpretation that she was somehow being malicious when she made that statement? Are there any?
I wasn't making that claim. No, I never made that claim.
So you said we were going to get. You said we were going to go to it, and now you don't have
because that was
I
Azzy's claim. So I was gonna.
We're past it. It's okay, brother. No,
you can go back. Go back and look where I said that because I never said it. That was what Azzy said. And so if Azzy had a lot of the claims, which he did, he said things that she had previously said. We can go down that path probably with Azzy. I imagine that's the person who has that. I never made that claim.
You literally opened up by saying, wait, like Fanatic, you agree though that we should like previous comments should be able to think some part of the thing that we like. You literally opened up with that, like that was part of your opening.
Those were things. That's because you were
distancing it and saying, no. That was.
That's because you were dismissing what Azzy said, saying we shouldn't take in these unrelated things because they are related.
Okay, yeah, whatever. That's fine.
Cool. So Azzy, do you want to bring up some of those things and we can go down that path?
Well, apparently Prime just did. I just don't understand. Prime literally mentioned a bunch of things. Her comments on Trump's Muslim ban. Apparently, right now these comments, they're just purely conservative-based comments. These are like very highly politicized comments, and I didn't even need to know these comments. That's the funny part. The 3 comments she made right now told me enough to say this is not going to fly. Like, I just don't understand why now. I just don't understand why this is now like so, like I'm gonna say it again, benign for some reason for Top, Fanatic, and Chris. Like the comments about women in the workplace more is worse than the fact that she said his black dad wasn't around, so why is he calling himself black on a football podcast?
Look,
come on now.
With the context of her previous statements, yes.
Like you think black people won't get irate? Black people are going to be wholly indignant over those comments. So I
said at the beginning.
And she works in media. Okay, Chris, you don't got to defend yourself. I know you're good. But it's mainly it's Top and Fanatic right now who are saying is no problem because they're the biracial.
I don't think Top said it was
players right now.
Like with the context of what she said before, like they didn't fire her or suspend her for those comments before. Even though I think
she get fired. I don't think she fired.
No, but what I'm saying is like those comments have been brought up before. She seems sketch for making them, yeah. But like there's not enough for the ESPN to get on her back about it. And I don't think these comments are worse than what she said before.
Why not?
So I think that's just why I don't think these comments are worse. I think they're probably on par with some conservative ideas that she has. But I agree with Top. Like this isn't. I don't think that thing is what like caused ESPN to do what they did. I think is in combination like with the vaccine mandate thing because she said these things before. They have other conservative leaning people on their network that've made comments before. I don't agree with these comments, right? I don't agree with the way she addressed like his dad being missing. I don't like, but for me, that like I can understand that not being enough, right? See, that's all I'm saying. And like,
so this tells me you guys aren't paying attention to CNN. I'm about to say CNN to ESPN because Black voices leave ESPN all the time for these little racialized comments that just go under the radar, and they consistently go under the radar. And
I'm not an ESPN viewer, so I don't have the context for that.
Wait, but you don't come out saying
I said, NFL is a highly racialized space.
Yeah.
So for her to just say this,
you don't come out saying that like fucking what was it she said? She said that like, oh, the worst racism she received was from Black people, right? Comment she made. You don't not get suspended for that and then get suspended because you think, Well, there's a difference. Like, I don't know
I'm
why
not saying she
Obama
got
dad
suspended
wasn't
just because,
around, right?
but we're not making that point. That was never my point. That she solely got suspended for
Wait, hold on. That
calling
was
into
literally the point you were just saying because
Obama's.
you literally
No,
just said
no,
you
Todd, no, you're
literally
not gonna
just
do that.
said
You're
that.
not gonna do that,
Hold on, Azzy. You literally just said
brother.
that people in the
Please, not right
ESPN
now.
get fucking
All right,
leave
make
an
a fool of
ESPN
yourself.
for comments like this all the fucking time. Those were your exact words, bruv. Okay.
But
Like,
did I say that this is the reason why she got the sole reason why she got suspended?
I'm sorry that you didn't literally say. Oh,
No,
the
because
sole
you
reason
keep
that she got
espousing that
suspended.
point.
Okay.
I'm saying it's we got to move on.
Azzy.
All right.
I'm
Okay,
saying
we-
an amalgamation.
Okay.
I'm focused.
Thank you,
I'm
okay?
as a black man on ABE.
I wanna.
I chose to focus on the black
Um,
comment because it was really bad, and the fact that you don't see it that bad. Matter of fact,
So-
People
you
are
know what?
leaving
Let's focus
ESPN
on.
all the time
let's
for making
focus
comments
on-
like this. But I wasn't saying that that's why she got suspended. Okay, Azzy.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Oh my
It's an
gosh.
amalgamation of
Ugh.
things of why she got suspended. The vaccine comments are why she got suspended. Her voices on a highly feminist, time in society to say that women get away with, and I will agree sometimes women do get away with some, dress codes. In fact, in my workplace, women wear whatever they want. And a woman came up to me today, in fact, and said, "Hey, we can wear whatever we want." And I said, "You know what? Sometimes y'all can, and nobody will say anything to you, for the most part. Sometimes there will be instances. But I'm not even saying it's those to me, yeah, other people are going to focus on them. But on a black panel, and she makes a black comment, I'm going to address this black comment because it was out of line, especially in an NFL space where
I love how you
black
move the goalpost,
players.
Azzy.
But
It's not moving the
okay,
goalpost.
I don't want to
This is
spend. I don't want to
saying-
spend. I don't
though.
want to spend the whole thing on this. Right? I
Nah,
want to move it on.
yeah,
And I actually have a really,
this is so
a hot take.
weird. This is weird.
And so I just want to shift it a little bit. Okay. And I don't want to focus. You don't have to focus entirely on this woman because there's more to this. But, God damn it.
Just listen to the
I got
podcast.
one.
I linked it.
Where's your hot take,
look,
friend?
just someone's gonna pay me. Look, have you all praised Enrico Pucci today? I've said it. You have to understand what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, but someone's gonna give me some money for that. All right, moving on. So she basically is challenging his blackness, right? With those comments, challenging President Obama's blackness with those comments, saying that he was raised by a white mother and a white grandmother.
I
And
think that's an unfair interpretation.
How-
Okay.
What? Oh my.
okay, all right,
goodness.
let me pull back.
Why is it
I
unfair?
don't-
Why is it unfair? What qualifies it as unfair?
Okay, it's okay.
Don't let them get away with this.
It's okay. Hold on. All right. I want to ask my question because we have limited amount of time on this.
I
right?
bought this hat for a reason, dog. I can't let the
Okay.
foolishness.
Anyway,
Dog.
so all right, like what constitutes as being black? So right, the black experience. So if you have a white passing woman, like the one was Chris met before, right? A white passing woman who lives with a white family, and who, first of all, never even was told that she had black ancestry, that her father, for instance, was black. Then is she equally black as I am, or as any of you are?
I feel like
Yes.
it's on how the way like society treats you. Like yes, like you can like identify however you want, but if your skin tone, your features, like if you can't like go throughout the world without being treated like a marginalized person, a black marginalized person in this country, yeah, you're black. Whether no matter how you speak or whatever. That's how like I see it now as a mixed race person. I understand they might have different thoughts about it, but like I'm not mixed race. I can't Aside that, I'm like, for me, it doesn't have, there's not a speak that goes with it. There's not a cultural thing really. It's just my skin color and and my features and how I'm treated in society. If you saw me growing up, like I did did a lot of things that you consider white, and like if that was the basis we were going off of, then like I would lost my black card instantly. But like that's not the way the world works.
Yeah, I would also say that no person being raised in like in a white family that's like white passing that doesn't even know that they're black, no, they wouldn't be as black as you because number one, they already don't have the black experience. Number two, like obviously if they're super white passing, it's probably because of the fact that they're not fully black. So then they would be partially black and partially something else. Whereas to my knowledge, you're fully black. So like I do think that they're like while it's a social construct, we do understand like that it's based on something and typically the direct pacing is the ancestry, right? Like the ethnicity of your parents or the race of your parents, rather. So, like, no, they wouldn't be as black as you. Like, it's just quantifiably not that.
So okay.
Quantify it. You mean like genetically, like on a
Gene-
family tree?
He didn't
What
say.
is this?
He didn't say that. He didn't say.
Like quantify.
He's
He
asking what you mean by
literally just said
quantifiably,
that.
though.
He literally just said that.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
okay.
Sure. So quantifiably, it's this, right? Like, so if you have two people that
These
are
are some Sage
100%
Steel
black, right,
comments
and
going
then,
on,
like
bro.
so, and they have an offspring, then that child's going to be 100% black. However, if you have one person that's 100% black and one other person that's 100% white, then their child is going to be 50% black and 50% white. If you have a person that's like 50% Native American and 50% white, and another person that's 50% black and 50%, I don't know, Asian or something, then that child is going to come out 25% of all of those things,
Okay.
right? So like it's basic math, right? Like,
But
so,
it's not the
so-
math
so-
that matters.
yeah.
It's the
I don't-
oh,
I think that's
no,
how
no,
like
hold on. I'm trying-
blackness necessarily works.
I'm trying to back you up here,
That's
Azzy.
not-
so that's
Azzy,
wait.
I'm trying to back you up here for a bit, right? Because I don't think like it's the math of their genetics that makes that happen, right? I think it's the experiences, which is what you were getting to with my previous example, right?
Oh, but no, because the thing that in the experience, so there are two different things, right? Like, so obviously we recognize like one that there is like the objective thing that we would look at, right? Where like again where that thing is going to be based off of like your ancestors, right? Like your direct heritage, and so then at that point that's going to be based. You can quantify that, but then there is another step to this, which is obviously the lived experience, right? And that's something that's going to be like wholly separate, because again you can be a mixed person raised in a completely white world where you don't even know that you're black and you're not treated like you're black, and then at this point you find out at 40 years old that you're black, and it's like, sure, you're not as black as me, clearly not, number one, quantifiably, and also your lived experience is not going to be the lived black experience. You're probably not going to be discriminated against in the same way, and all of these other things. And we would use these different things to determine two different aspects of blackness, right? One aspect is the direct heritage thing, and the second aspect is going to be your lived experience. Both of these things are incredibly valid, though.
So,
but you're literally spitting in the face of the whole
hold on. Let me try
decades of
let me try to work this, Azzy. I'm closer to your end. I'm trying to help you out. Like, come on, man. Like, you've been talking a lot. I'm trying to get into this. All right. But so there's so many problems of just like looking. Well, and you're not just doing that. But bringing in genetics, as a significant factor, because look, if you are black, right, and you grew up in like a black nation, and you're like the daughter of a powerful like a leader, right, and you grew up in the lap of luxury, and no one ever challenged you, no one ever deprived you, in the way that like African Americans are often challenged and deprived, right? Like you didn't live that experience, right? Is their blackness the same as my blackness? Like if they lived a completely a life of luxury and entitlement, right? Like is that the black experience, that the one that you and I have been talking about? Like you based part of it on that black experience we talked about on the struggle, right? So if that's the case, if people have to go through that to experience what it is to be black, then you can look black, right? You can be just as dark as we are, right? Be dark skinned, but then live a life that doesn't match anything that any of us have ever experienced, right?
Right, but but we wouldn't say like, okay, so the black experience, it has multiple aspects to it. Again, like, so as far as the race component, yes, this person is definitely black, and guess what? that black person is still going to live some of the black experience. Now, when we talk about the black experience, typically it has multiple meanings, right? Like something beyond just the race of the individual, but the way society treats those individuals.
Yeah.
But guess what? Even in like in places of high wealth and things like that, they're still discriminated against. In fact, I remember reading a study that demonstrated that black people like who come from positions of wealth are more likely to be discriminated against. But that's probably because of the fact that they're more likely to encounter wealthier white people than other black people. A lot of times, black people can live within like very like black bubbles, right? Where like your school is all black, your teachers are all black, and so on and so forth. So you might not experience racism per se. Whereas a person that's like a black person living in a fully white neighborhood and so on and so forth is almost guaranteed to experience specific types of racism. So with all that being said, there's two different aspects. And again, that wealthy black person is living a black experience. Now they're not living when we typically are talking about the black experience, we're talking about like the experience of oppression and whatever. But there were wealthy black people, there always have been, and some of them have lived their own unique black experience. You don't like we don't like label we don't limit the black experience to only the experience of struggle and poverty, right? Even if we were to consider like struggle and poverty and things like that, there's still a great deal of like variance, right, within the black experience itself. So like, yeah, that's part of life.
Yeah, I would just say it seems a little, for me personally, I agree with like 95% of what you say, Fanatic, but it seems a little weird when we go from we go from the perspective of like you're black, you're not black, right? It's like sort of an on or off thing, and to where we start saying, well, you didn't live like these parts of the black experience, so you're like less black. That's where it
Well, for sure, there's
kinda,
degrees, obviously.
like,
No. And again, I'm not saying that this person wouldn't be racially black, for sure. Like they would still be racially black, but we would say that they haven't lived like the average black experience, right? Like we can recognize what the black experience has meant to us for all these years. And if I need to, it's really crazy to me that you would like stop me here. If I need to write out a definition so that we can all agree on what we typically mean when we're saying the word black experience, which I know that you know exactly what the freak we're getting at there, then you would be able to make the statement, this person hasn't lived the average black experience, right? Like a white person, a white passing person who's raised in a white town and no one knows that they're black, hasn't lived the black experience. We would all agree with that statement. So there's something to the black experience beyond just the race. However, we would all recognize that even if that person didn't look so, we would all be able to make the statement, this person is black. So like, I don't know why we're getting hung up here.
No, look. Okay, yeah, that's so the only point I was getting to, and I think we've kind of gotten lost from here, but like the only point I was getting to is that like there's a gradient, right, of these experiences, right? So we can agree with that much. Okay, that's what I was getting to.
Of course.
All right,
Of course.
so you can be racially black by that one drop rule bullshit, right? Even though you are white passing, and the society treats you as white, but you can be have the ethnic makeup of being black, but in saying that if they have grown up in a certain household and don't even know, then they haven't lived that black experience. But then, and we can go up from there. We can start adding things to say, okay, well, this person has something, right? Like if they're aware that they have that black past, right? Like maybe that changes the way they interact with others, with white people, right? If white people start saying some crazy shit, right, because they don't think any black people in the room, right, that makes you feel some type of way, well then that's part of the black experience. Okay, so great, so we're agreeing there. So then going back to these comments where she's saying this ESPN reporter saying that Barack Obama wasn't raised by a black father, right? It was raised by his white mother and grandmother. Right? I think what she's saying that like he's had less of that experience. That's wherever on that timeline or that spectrum, he's not all the way to like maximum black, right? Because he's been raised.
Do you disagree with that? Do you disagree with that?
No.
Do you disagree that Barack Obama?
I agree.
Okay, so you agree.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Let's keep going.
You agree with what? That he had less of a black experience because he was raised by white people in Hawaii.
If if I think Joe Lewis gets into this a lot, right?
Yes, I listen to
I
him
know-
often.
I know, yeah.
You would be very disappointed.
But listen,
If we're
I'm not. But it sounds like I'm trying to insult him, but I'm not. This is not all an insult.
I know.
This isn't coming after him or his blackness. It's just acknowledging that there's so many pieces to the black experience, right? And
But the gradients aren't less or more than each other. I understand the gradients, but the less is not less qualified.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
than
want to
the
push
more.
back at. It's like I understand that there's like a
What- trying to-
variety of black experiences, right?
Okay.
But it seems really, really weird when we say that like
You're trying to
one
qualify
black
it all.
experience is more
Yeah, it makes
more
you more black or less
equivalent-
black
more
than another.
equivalent
black
to
than
be
another.
black.
This is like the whole thing I'm talking about at the
but
beginning.
then-
was, like,
When
the
did I say that?
gatekeeping of,
I didn't say that. I didn't
blackness
make that
and stuff
statement
like
though.
that.
So why are you
So
addressing that if I
now,
didn't
I think
say
she's
that?
coming
now,
at-
so then,
But you
Fanatic, we
somewhat
need you.
say it when you say that like someone is more black than someone
hold on,
else, right?
hold on.
But no. I'm
Already-
saying a person is more than someone else, specifically when it comes to the racial makeup. I made that statement. That was something that's crystal clear that I think we all agree with, right? A half black person versus a fully black person is more black than another person, like by the quantification. Number one, and then number two. I'm sorry. That's where I made that distinction. I also very clearly stated that a very wealthy black person who doesn't live the typical black experience
I'm sure-
is very much black. No one would ever deny that. We would
I'm
say
sure
that
some
person might not
geneticists
have
would
lived
disagree.
the typical black experience. We know what the black experience
Yeah.
means, but we would never say that that person isn't black. I've never made that statement.
Exactly.
That's what it
and-
sounds like
hold on,
Ozzy was
hold
trying
on.
to
I just
say.
want to push back on this because, like, Top Dolphin, that the first hypothetical I came up with, right? The white passing person doesn't know they're black, lived in a white family, grew up white, effectively. Does that person have an equal black experience as you and I, or less of it, or none of it?
I thought,
So
wait,
I
is that
think
really up for
maybe
questioning,
okay.
or-
So this is where I would go with that, right? So like I think it's kind of okay that I would say that like that person has none of it, right? And I guess I'm okay when we say like, okay, you either have a black experience or you don't, as I said earlier. But it feels weird when we say that person is like less black.
If this
right?
person,
I think that seems kind of weird.
I don't know why
Because
that.
really, like,
why is it weird though? Because, like, again, if you can introduce other parts to this, like I said, like you can make this person aware that they are black, and then they have certain feelings when they're in an all-white space, and some white person says some crazy shit about black people, because we know that happens all the goddamn time, right? So, like that happens. You hear this from biracial people, right? Where they have the experience where they're in a segregated space, and then people don't know that someone with a mixed ethnicity is there, and they start saying some crazy shit, and they feel some type of way about this, right? They feel maybe discriminated against, or they feel it just makes them feel like shit, or I don't know, right? So like that I would say that's more of the black experience than otherwise. But if after that, right, they don't actually confront, like hold on. In this scenario, right, where they're having this experience, where people are saying these things, let's say they don't confront those white individuals, and those white individuals still never know that this person has black ancestry, right? And so again, their entire life they're treated as a white. Is that person still equally as black, or has an equal black experience as you and I, right? Who can't walk away from this, right? People, when we walk in the room, they know we're fucking black. And they treat us
having a
accordingly.
black, but having a black
I would say more that
experience.
they have a different black experience rather than a more or
Okay,
less black experience.
alright.
And I know that seems like it seems really, but it seems like when
I'm
you
not
start
saying
there, you can go back to like I'm like reliving fucking middle school where they're like, oh, you're into like Yu-Gi-Oh cards and shit like that. Black people don't do that, so like you're less black than the rest of us black
Sounds
people.
very slippery
Or, like,
slope
you're
to
not
me.
very like it seems like when if you enter the like realm of like this is what blackness is, and if you start to get away from this, like you're not as black, right? You can infinitely apply that across the spectrum. And be
No,
like,
no, that's the
certain people
problem.
are
The
more-
problem is this.
So,
What you're doing
then
is a
the
slippery
question
slope
is,
fallacy,
where do we draw
bro.
the
This is
line,
stupid.
right? Where do we
exactly.
draw? When
Right.
is everything black?
Yeah.
Everything is within the black experience, and everything is equally black until we get to like this little point, and then like finally we're outside the line where we can start like negotiating it, right? Like it seems
Yeah,
like
this is
like
silly.
you can say
This
it's a
is
slippery
stupid.
slope, and I'll say it's a slippery slope. slope, but I think it's like a valid slippery slope.
No,
right?
It is not.
no,
Slippery
it's
slope
not.
is
Like,
never
once you
valid.
start
That's the
making those
problem.
comparisons,
Slippery
right?
slope is a fallacy. That's the problem.
No,
And
no,
it's
no,
not
no,
valid.
valid
There are
slippery
valid slippery
slopes.
yes, there are
Yeah,
valid
not all
slippery
slippery
slopes.
slopes are
However,
valid.
Let's go to.
I don't think this is valid.
Let's Chris give it a try.
Look, her comments weren't that why doesn't Barack Obama identify as less black? She said, why doesn't he identify with both? She said, that's what I do when I fill out a census. I say both, right? That's what she was questioning. Why only black? Why not both? Like, she's not saying he's not black or less black. It's just that these two experiences
Yeah.
like have been like constant in his life, right? He's had the like part of the white experience, not only like just biologically, but just being white, raised by a white family, but also being like just like societally what you consider black, being that living in society. Of course, he's had that experience as well. So why she's just questioning, why not like identify with both those parts of who you are? I don't see a problem with having that conversation.
Which
But
makes
that's
it
not what
even
we're
more
talking
I
about
don't
right
see a
now.
problem with that either, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a problem with her saying, like, I don't understand why he didn't identify. I won't say as both, but as biracial, right? Like, why isn't this the identity that he chose for himself? Why did you? And I think that's a very, like, yeah, fuck. If Barack Obama wants to talk to me for some reason, I would ask him that question. That's like a really interesting question that you can have, right? But like, I don't think that necessitates like comparing black experience, saying that like, oh, he's biracial, so he's less black than everybody else. I don't think that's what she was saying. I'm saying that she was saying that like, hey,
He literally
has
said
a
that.
biracial
She literally
experience.
said her black dad is gone. He was raised by
she
his
was literally
white
saying that.
grandmother. She literally said he has no black experience. Why does he identify
That's
as
not
black?
what she was saying.
Which
That's
is
not what
she
she said.
literally,
She was saying the part.
Oh my goodness! Do I gotta read the
parent?
quote?
Yeah, read the
right?
quote. That's
that
not
like,
what she said.
like, hold on, because you could go down the argument where you say like, what the black
Barack
dad not
Obama
being around is a
chose
very black experience, right? Like that's like
Barack
a trope is
Obama
that black dads aren't around, right? So that would make him more black, maybe, right? And we want to do this like comparing blackness thing, right? No, she was saying that like,
I
hey,
really
the
hope-
thing that like the parent that gave you your blackness didn't even help raise you, yet you decide to identify as black over biracial. I think that's like
She
a
has-
valid question, right?
Well,
No,
no,
She
she
wasn't
has
necessarily
no
negating his
no,
blackness.
it's not. No, it's not valid. It's not valid at all. In fact, it shouldn't have even come up. In fact, there was no reason for her to speak about this at all. Like I keep trying to establish this point that within the space that she's in, within the work that she does, within her whole career, based upon her historical comments, based upon her whole political position, there was no reason for her to say this. I don't understand why this is being missed.
That just sounds
Moving
like
on, moving
like
on.
the shut up
talk.
and dribble the
I
ball
don't-
thing, right? Like that's what you're saying right now, right?
No, I literally said she could have said
100%.
something else or at least worded it better because she works in media and she knows how to navigate the space because she's lasted this long.
But she
knows
shouldn't
what
have
to
even
say.
been talking about
Hold
it.
on,
You're holding two
no.
positions
Let me
at the same
finish.
time,
I'm gonna
dog.
read you. I'm gonna read you her comment. Well, she's like, well, what happens when you fill out the census? And this is just paraphrased. Well, if they make you choose a race, she's like, what are you going to put? I go, well, I put both. Okay, that's what she does. Meanwhile, she has no clue what Obama puts on the census. He may have put both at one point. He may have put white at one point. He may have put only black at one point. We have no idea what she does. So she's assuming and presuming a lot, which is another negative thing. She is presuming a lot moving forward. Barack Obama
I don't think it's bad to assume that about Obama.
Let me
I'm not
finish the
assuming what he
comment
puts on the
before you-
sentence,
Before
right?
you
But
say
assuming
anything,
that he
let
goes
me
as
finish
black
what she
because he
said.
ran as like
Before
the
you say
black
anything
president,
else,
right?
let me finish what she
Okay,
said.
I see. Okay.
Barack Obama chose black and he's biracial. And I'm like, well, congratulations to the president. That's his thing. I think that it's fascinating, consider his black dad was nowhere to be found, but his white mom and grandma raised him. But hey, you do you, I'm going to do me. The whole thing was just like, it was just,
do you not
thing
think that's
wasn't-
fascinating?
there was no-
I would love
there-
to have a conversation with Obama over this. That
if
sounds
you don't
really
get this
fascinating,
disingenuous,
dog.
that's so disingenuous. Get out of here. Like, you do you, I'm gonna do me. That's not a positive. When someone says that in any type
I
of
made the choice
colloquial
I
sense,
made, and you can make the
no,
choice
it's
you made,
basically-
right? Like,
it's basically saying I don't understand or I don't agree based upon these reasons.
no, that's
which
exactly what I said. I
No,
don't
hold
agree with
on,
the
because
decision
we're
he made.
being-
I don't
we're
understand why he
really
made the
being-
choice because
this is what I'm
she
saying.
feels like she had a very similar experience and
Stop.
made a different choice. That's exactly what I've been saying since the beginning, Azzy. Holy shit!
It's not about because it's not about her. She really just wholly analyzed his whole life
If she would have
Man,
gave a
a
different
level
example,
choices.
would we be
If
this
she had gave,
upset?
That's
If she
that's
wouldn't
what
have
I
used
said.
Brock
That's
That's
a good
what
question.
that's
like,
literally what I said. If she had at least worded it better, at least hit it under your mask, just don't go full mask off. You know,
no,
like
what
she
I'm saying is if
continuously
she would have
does.
used
I
different
don't know, but a second ago you said she
No,
should have
I
never been
wouldn't.
talking
No,
about this,
I
right?
wouldn't have been. No, I wouldn't have been mad if she had worded it
No,
better.
yeah,
like I
Michael
keep on
Jordan just
saying.
shut up and dribble the ball. You know, that's what
Okay,
they tell
all
black
right,
people to
okay.
do. Okay,
Top,
So
I
I'd
understand.
be
Yeah,
willing.
I
I'd
understand
be
where you're coming
willing.
from, Azzy.
Top Dolphin.
You're not dealing
Okay.
with anything.
Top Dolphin. I'd be willing to give you the compromise on like different variations of the black experience, right? Like because I hear what you're saying, and that some people have in their minds exactly what the black experience is, and you brought up the whole thing about like not having a father, right? Like that's like part of the black experience, and if that's the case, well then Barack Obama definitely had that.
Which is cynical. Which is cynical.
Yeah, no.
Which is not a positive comment
I hear
either.
you, so I'll give you that. But I still can't pull back on the example that I drew. That like you can otherwise have like the world can treat you white, like as if you're fully white, and you never have to deal with the direct effects of being of African descent. And then you just happen to know that you aren't. You never claim it. You never do anything with it, and then you just kind of feel bad when like white people around you say terrible things like that. That sounds literally less of a black experience than anything else. I feel like that shouldn't be controversial. I feel like I could safely say that.
Okay, so let me like
honestly,
push back.
because you keep saying the same.
Would you be? Maybe like we're maybe like I'm less against that idea, except for like so let me put it this way. I would agree with you if you had said something like and maybe the language seems really like I'm nitpicking, but I think it's like there's a difference. It's like they haven't experienced as much like black oppression as like other groups of people, right? And I would be kind of okay with that, right? I would. It seems so weird when we say, but I don't say that the black experience is oppression. That's a big part of it.
Yeah,
like it's
like,
not
why go
only
so
oppression.
far?
Shut the fuck up, Azzy. But it's not only oppression,
Really?
right? And so it seems really weird when we say like, oh, they've had less of a black experience, and I would rather just have it either have a black experience or you don't. And then like you could say, but they have a black experience, but like that person in your hypothetical scenario who's never necessarily engaged with the direct like results hasn't experienced much oppression for being black, right? The same way where I might say I went to high school in a nice neighborhood, like I would be okay with saying I experienced less black oppression than like some of my friends who lived in like a little bit of a rougher neighborhood, right? But I wouldn't say that I'm any less black. That's where I start to get like it feels really like funky to me.
Okay. All right.
No.
I think Prime's right. Like, if we consider race as like a societal like construct, right? There's variations to how like black or white someone can be considered. If society at large doesn't treat you, or like you don't move with society a certain way, then you're not that, right? You maybe biologically, I'm pretty sure like I got this white like ancestry in my genes, right? You put it up, it might be like 20-30%. But that doesn't like make a difference to how society at large sees like who I am.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, true.
there's like
What if I said like, oh my god, like we have a trans person, and like once you've like transitioned and you're 100% fully passing, and no one treats you like you're trans anymore, you are no longer trans. You're just a woman, and you've like ascended the trans experience. It seems like really fucking weird to me, right? Like I feel like you're either one or the other,
That's
and
not
like
what
you might
they're
have
saying.
varying degrees of experiences. And
That's
like, you might
not what they're
experience
saying at
varying
all.
amounts of
Top,
oppression
shut
based
up,
on that
Top.
thing.
Shut
Like
up.
saying that
Top.
someone
That's
is
not what
less
it is.
of the thing that
What
they
is he
identify
talking
as seems
about?
very like insulting almost, right?
Top, you are muddying the waters really
Yeah.
hard right now. Like
How am I
you're
muddying the waters? Please tell me. Please tell me.
muddied the waters by trying to equate your experience to this situation. You're muddying the waters by trying to say like they're involving the trans experience because nobody like what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Thanks,
Honestly.
Azzy, for contributing. Nothing
Yeah,
like
thank you.
always do. Okay, I appreciate it, man.
The whole reason we're even okay, great. Anywho,
Again, gender
whole
is
lot of
a
nothing.
societal construct.
we're really
of, like
It is
Okay,
exactly.
I don't have to-
Even the black experience is a social racial construct.
Okay.
Like how
But, like,
what we
you-
identify,
I hate
it's a mixture.
so many
It's
things are
like-
constructs. That doesn't mean that they like don't have meaning, right?
top. The reason you don't understand anything I'm saying because you just don't listen. Because you
No,
always
I'm
have a
just
rebuttal
ignoring you because you're
midway
not
in
addressing
the middle
what
of
I'm
the
actually
same
saying,
statement.
Doug. You're just saying I'm muddying the waters
Right,
because I
okay.
talked about my own experience. So yeah.
Okay, great. Prime.
All right, Abby,
Even you
what were we
said
saying,
there's
Abby?
a
Please tell me.
gradient. There's a gradient of experiences, right?
Yeah,
What we're trying
I
to
agree with
propose,
that, Abby,
even
but I
top.
said it feels weird to me when you say one of those experiences are more or less than another. You're like fucking 20 minutes back in this conversation. Like, fast
Is it?
forward.
Because
and,
I'm
like,
trying
catch
to
up,
bring
bro.
it back to the conversation because that's really what most people want to talk about, not trying to equate it to the trans experience,
Alright,
which is
who-
going to make it even
Simple.
more complicated.
Okay, all right.
This isn't that
Okay,
complicated.
all right. Okay. Oh man.
This I don't understand how this got this complicated. This was a simple matter.
I think it's not that complicated. I think you're
Okay.
just lost in the sauce, man.
Okay, we're just have to leave that there. Oh shit. Okay.
Wait, hold up. But like my analogy made sense, right? Like you guys understood like what I was trying to get at there. Where we
Well,
like it seemed really weird that like you would
So
get to a point
I
where
want to
before you
reach out. Yeah,
articulated
again,
their
I'll
emotional thing you
take the olive
identify
branch
as.
you were extending, talking about they have experienced like less black oppression, and not saying that they have less of a black experience, right? Like that one, I'll take you up on. All right, fair enough.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I think and I think it matters how we phrase these things because we don't want to alienate other people from the community. So I'll take you there. All right. Boy. Okay. So then going back to the start with this woman's comments, do we think now again this woman of Sage Steele has said lots of shit, okay, so we're gonna isolate it just for a moment because I know she said some crazy ass stuff. We're gonna isolate it just to these comments about Obama. Do you think just for that, ignoring everything else, that she should be suspended? Just roll call on this one. Azzy, yes, no?
No, I don't think she should be suspended, but I do think that she should have some type of, based upon her history of making these comments, there should be some type of, fine or something.
Okay, great.
Some type of,
Chris.
pushback.
No, I don't.
All right, Django.
Probably not. In totality, it's kind of rough, but I don't think so. And off these two things, no, probably not.
Top Dolphin.
Yeah, if we're talking specifically the race comments, like no, I don't think she should be suspended for it, and I don't think she was. I think she was suspended for speaking out against company policy.
Okay.
Publicly.
Fanatic.
Absolutely not. Not under any circumstances. No way. Not even close. I just did not even close to problematic enough to be suspended for.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we acknowledge on that end that these comments maybe were weird, but not a suspendable offense. But yeah, looking at more of her past, then I think it changes a lot. Okay. So just one thing, remaining time we have on this topic. So she said, as in that article that I put in, that she felt that black people had said the worst things to her, right? Now, looking at her in her entirety, can we guess what that might have been? I have my suspicions.
I don't doubt her at all.
100%. Yeah. Fuck, I'll fucking say it. Okay, I think some of the worst oppression that I've experienced, or the worst like comments I've heard was from other black people telling me like I wasn't black enough. That fucking hurts, dog. Like, I mean, like I have like a lot of like privilege in my life. Like I grew up. I went to a really nice high school, right? I was really smart. I speak like I'm white, so a lot of white people they kind of treat me they don't treat me white, but they treat me less black, right? Like I can be in a room of racists and they'll be like, well, you're one of the good ones. And just because of the way that I speak and the way that I carry myself. Is that right? No. But like when I was like in middle school and elementary school and kids were like, oh, you're not black enough because you don't listen to rap music or because you don't like got the right shoes or like all these things, like that should hurt a lot. And I can understand like you had to say like some of the worst comments you've made have been from Black people. I don't think that's necessarily like a bad thing to say. Like, for me, those are the things that sting the most compared to like a bunch of white people on the internet call me the N-word and I wouldn't give a fuck. It's like whatever. These idiots, like, it doesn't hurt, right?
So I was going in a different direction.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's fine. No, what you said, I hear it, and I've heard those same comments myself, right? And they do hurt. So I feel you. Just for this particular woman, I was going in a different direction because she seems quite conservative, right? Like,
oh yeah, 100%. She seems like super conservative. She's probably fucking stupid as shit.
Yeah, it seems to me like if I was to guess as to what she experienced, it's more like being saying like you're an Uncle Tom or something like that. You know, a comment of that sort, saying that you've like betrayed us, like with these type of things. Yeah, I think a lot of Black conservatives, doesn't matter what their racial makeup, is experience exactly that. So like I'm guessing.
For sure. I would say I would really love to hear like Tariq Nasheed's comments on this. I'll probably have to search his Twitter because he's normally up on these kind of things. So I know he went in. And I'm such a fan of his takes on specifically racial issues. But yeah, I would say that, yeah, what it seems like very often is that when you find these, I guess he uses the word tether very often. When you find these people who are like kind of outside of the scope of like, I'm sorry, who don't have the same exact Black American experience, I feel like very often like that their takes and their opinions and all those things like diverge so much from what the average Black experience is. Now, obviously, we know there are outliers. We're not a monolith, but the average Black experience and the average Black opinion is on so many of these like economic and racial topics. Like so for her to be so very distant from like the kneeling for the national anthem done by Colin Kaepernick and the others, like for her to be so far removed from it, like probably speaks to her lack of a Black experience in plenty of ways. Because I think for people who have actually lived these experiences, it becomes incredibly easy and so transparent. Like this is why we feel the way we feel. We've witnessed it, we've experienced it, we've seen it firsthand or secondhand, and so it kind of informs our political opinions very often. But when someone has been raised in such a way that they've been insulated from that kind of thing, it makes sense that they would be so distant. And that's where she is. It seems.
Okay, hold on. But
Well, saying all that, I just don't. I feel like you guys are just like teetering, like flip flopping almost.
No, because we said before, the context does matter. Without that context for the conversation, like that's not a flip flop, right? With context to her like past behavior, like I can like yes, it's sketchy when you're borderline saying like Black people are the real racists. Like I've been hurt by black comments about Black people before in my life too. The same type of comments. I'd never go as far as like to insinuate that, right? Like the Black people like I've experienced like are more racist. I've experienced more racism from them, therefore they're the racist.
But understanding all this and understanding the comments she's made and now giving credence to trying to understand her plight, what she's gone through, her experience, and then looking at the comment made about Obama.
It's a multiracial
How
comment.
do you not?
Wait, Chris, did she make this statement? Therefore, they're the racist? Because I feel like that's another leap again. Like I understand. Okay, because that's what I feel like you've been doing that over and over again, and that's not the implication.
But I clearly said she's like it felt like she was insinuating that to me. So I think that's kind of sketch.
I get you, but you keep doing that. You keep doing these things where like every time you keep putting on and imputing these things that are not directly said, and then there's nothing substantiated. So then it's really hard for us to actually engage because now you're going, look, this isn't said, but I'm going to interpret this as uncharitably as possible. And now let's have this conversation. When it's like, no. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole of all of this nonsense that wasn't stated, right? Like until you can show me where she says, therefore they're the real racist, because in itself, I know from the things that I've been responsible for how absolutely atrocious Black people can be towards people of a mixed heritage. So I would, to me, the idea that probably in her lived experience, the thing that she's the most racist thing that she's gotten has been from other black people. I don't even doubt that. I think that's so believable. I don't know. I don't know how anyone here really would doubt that. So then, like, for you to then add on this other thing, which now somewhat invalidates the thing that she's saying,
Fanatic,
it
if
just
you
seems like
believe-
nefarious and
When her
inaccurate.
previous, like,
No,
she's more like
doesn't-
conservative leaning comments. Like, I feel like for me, like with everything her character surrounding that, I can see how that can be like
Yeah, I
kind
can
of
see
seem
how
like
it's
a dog
possible.
whistle for that.
Sure. Okay, good. As
But,
long as we're
like-
as long as we're just operating in the realm of possibility, it's also very. I don't know. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. Good. So as long as you're willing to admit that this is only just a possibility in your head, an unfounded inference that you can't fully substantiate, then I guess we can go there. But I don't understand why we would have a conversation about your limited interpretation based off of like some crazy inference, when instead we can actually just interact with the ideas that are actually said, that we all share the
Because
same
the
understanding
more
and
context that
interpretation
comes
of.
out, it seems that she's leaning that way. That's just me.
Literally, fanatic, you literally just said that I could fully believe that her worst racial experiences could have come from black people, worse than white people, without saying white people. You know, that's literally what you said. Therefore, it's very intelligently honest for Chris to make an inference and say, hey, black people are more racist than white people if her worst racial experiences have been coming from black people, which then even more brings credence to my whole premise about her comment in the first place. This is a racialized comment in
Or
a
she could just be
racialized thing.
saying like,
I
or
just
she
don't
could just be saying
understand
that
this.
black people can be racist too, right? And like we don't necessarily have to make the jump to.
It does. Well,
like,
then, if
black
that's
people are
true,
worse
if
than
that's
white- and more
true,
racist than white people, right?
okay, so
I
if
feel like
that's
that's a
true,
bit-
then there's
like-
nothing wrong with what Chris said, and there's a little something off about her comment, even if she doesn't get suspended for it. There's something off about it.
Didn't she say all the racist like racism I experienced was from like what was it like content? What was the
I
quote
think she
again?
said the
Like,
worst
The
racial
worst
experience.
racism that I've ever received is as a biracial woman married to a white man, and I mean thousands and thousands over the years, is from black people who, in my mind, I thought would be the most accepting because there has been that experience. But even as recent as the last couple of weeks, the worst, the words that I have had thrown at me, I can't repeat here, and it's 99% from the people with my skin color. But if a white person said those words to me, what would happen?
Every time she opens her mouth, apparently.
uh, I-
I'm not saying
What's wrong? What's
based
wrong with
upon
what she said? What's
based
wrong with what
upon
she
what-
said, dog?
what's wrong with what she, it's not about the fact. No, there's an issue with what she said, and we gonna say that, hey, black people have been treating her wrong. We're not saying she's at fault for saying what she said. That's her speaking to her lived experience. There's nothing wrong with her speaking to her lived experience. But when you couple this with what we were talking about now, there is an issue with her now qualifying the blackness of Obama based upon his lived experience. And she's doing it from the premise of her lived experience.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like we're trying to like paint her as some like Candace Owens-esque figure.
I
When,
am,
like,
bro.
I
I'm
don't
literally
think-
saying
I don't
that there's a
think every
problem.
black conservative necessarily like denies that black
Bro,
people
let me
have
put
bad
my hat
experience.
back on,
Yeah,
bro.
I know. I mean, I
Bro.
grew up in fucking church.
Oh
I know
my
a lot
goodness,
of black
bro.
conservatives
Like,
out
this
there
is insane
who
to
are
me.
like still like, hey, black people are oppressed and all this shit, right? And like, but like the black struggle really exists, but like black people can be racist too. And then they talk about like all their other conservative shit about how women need to start.
Well,
But I
dressing
never,
more
Okay,
I
okay.
never
So
hear her
sure.
talk about the plight of black people. I
Yeah,
never hear her talk
with
about
her
that.
previous comments that at least I've heard of, which is the whole the kneeling comments, the Muslim ban comments. It seems like she doesn't agree with a lot of the black oppression. Now, I'm not an expert on Sage Steele, okay, so I could be wrong. If you could provide it where it's like, hey, she absolutely understands a lot of the struggle, then sure.
I think she kind of like hints at that though when she says like when I thought that like black people were going to be the most supportive of me when I dated a white man. Right?
You're always gonna
like-
expect your people to back you. So if she is a biracial woman, she expects the black community to be kind of on her side. That's kind of what you expect normally.
And
But that's not always.
and she
I
said
mean,
in
I
recent
mean,
weeks she
maybe-
might have been talking about like after, and I don't know, right? So we're just like guessing at this point, and I'm not sure how much use it is to keep doing this, but she might have been referring to after she made her Colin Kaepernick comments, right? Black people going off on her, like in Twitter. Like you can imagine what black people would say to her for not backing Colin Kaepernick during all this, right? So that's literally might be what she means. I don't know. But okay, I think we got this. So let's just move on to the next topic. Okay. Thank you, GSU Gambit, for joining us, for making it. Appreciate you, buddy. How you doing? He's working on it. He's working on it.
Gambit.
Oh,
I'm
Yeah, I
surprised
muted
all
it.
these
My bad. No,
these IT people, bro. All these tech
No,
people.
no, listen. I never mute in Discord.
Consistently.
I muted in Discord.
okay.
But no, I was saying that I'm having a good day. I probably would have took this first topic a lot differently. So I didn't want to just y'all were having a good conversation on that. So I didn't.
Oh man,
jump in.
I wish you had been here. I wanted to hear what you have to say.
Yeah,
on
I
this.
want to know what Gambit thinks.
Yeah.
this
Well,
is I don't think the things that y'all focused on are why things are happening to her. I think more of it is about her anti-mask mandate and her comment about women being somewhat responsible for, like,
We talked about that. We talked about that.
Yeah.
I did. Oh, I came in late.
It was a pretty the anti-mask
Yeah.
part was pretty short, but Emma Dolphin was back in the point that was probably why she got suspended. Someone also in the chat mentioned she also tested positive for COVID, so that's an insanely believable reason why she would get suspended. Along with these
You don't
things,
get
like hey, it's convenient.
suspended for
No, hold
testing
on.
positive,
Along
bro.
with these things, it's kind of convenient to be like suspend, don't have to pay her.
Okay.
You don't suspend people for getting COVID.
No. But she had a lot of takes that people thought were questionable. Plus, she has COVID. Fuck it. I mean, she didn't get. Has she been suspended a lot in the past? Is this like
I
a
don't know,
regular
I don't
thing
know.
for her?
I can't say.
He's
I
taken
don't-
off
I
for the.
don't
Okay.
seem
I'm
to see
pretty sure
anything
they- I don't
wanna go that's into it, suspended
Yeah,
or bad.
She's
we
not
should-
hosting the NBA.
We got it. We got it. We'll just have to move on. Okay. To my audience, if you've been enjoying this conversation so far, hit that follow button right now. Make sure notifications are on so you know I'm going live. I do 6 nights a week. Don't want you to miss out on all the content that we provide, right? We always have these open panels. We have discussions like this to get explosive like this. So if you want to be a part of that, hit that follow button right now. Don't forget, make sure notifications are on. Also, exclamation point social and chat. To follow us on social media, jump into our Twitter for channel updates. Jump into our Discord where we have all our conversations. It's the heart and soul of the community. We want you to be a part of the Discord. So jump in, follow, and join in with what we're doing there. And the YouTube's where you'll find the VODs of everything. So they don't live here, they live there on YouTube. Help us make that a sustainable platform. So like, comment, subscribe at our YouTube channel. All right, let's go to the next topic. Actually, I thought the first one's gonna be a bit more chill. Actually,
Why?
I don't know.
That's crazy, bro.
Alright.
That's crazy to me.
Okay.
This one's gonna be more too.
Maybe. This week, Twitch was subject to a huge data leak. Within this hack, information about the payouts of top Twitch streamers were included. It's evident that all the top streamers are white males. Some are hinting at a form of discrimination on Twitch. Do you think there is anything to this claim? Is that at all fair? Should we expect to see more people of color at the top? Okay, yep. The Twitch hack, it was huge. We all know this happened. I know this. I first found out because some kind people in my community DM'd me this, like, oh, hey, look out. So it was very kind of you for the people who did that. Thank you so much. But yes, part of all this is that we know the pay of the people at the top, and it's not so surprising. I mean, I don't think this is like shocking news. People were like acting like this is shocking news. It's not really, right? You could calculate a lot of this yourself, right? Like Hassan, we talked about this here before, or actually maybe this was after panel, but that Hassan has his sub count at the on visible, right? So how many subs he has per month, and you could figure out it depends because he gets some extra bonuses from Twitch, but you could ballpark what he's making, and he's making a shit ton is the answer to that. He's making a shit ton. But some people have noticed, and I put the article in chat, some people have noticed that there's a pattern among the top. Should we draw any conclusions from the fact that the top looks the way it does? And should something be done about that? All right, so we'll discuss. Azzy.
I'm not surprised, and no, we should not expect more Black people of color at the top. This platform is, I'm gonna say it, this platform is, it welcomes us, but it is not designed, for us to shine. Only the the very few, the rare minority, will get, will shine through. They'll have us on the front page to host their events. They'll have us on the front page during Black History Month. After that, discoverability is terrible. In fact, this whole their money is so poorly allocated that they allowed basically soft porn, gambling, all that stuff is on their recommended 24/7. Amazon is making a competing streaming service against its own product. It's basically is not investing any more money into Twitch at the very minimum. Like, that was leaked. Like, it's creating another gaming platform. It already has live streaming on its own platform. It sells Twitch's technology to other. It's basically free. It's freeware at this point. Hey, you pay this, you could create your own Twitch. It's nonsense. Yes, and I'm not upset at this. Listen, they make it's working as intended, which is why Twitch is not making as much money as it could. That's why advertisers are leaving. That's why a lot of business minds have left, because it's not a place that it's not what it was, 10 something years ago. It's not.
My God.
I think you got maybe a few of those things.
And then, but apparently,
just a little few of those. Just a few. But we'll talk about it in open. Let's.
Amazon is.
I haven't heard somebody wrong in an intro in a long time. Let me just
Have you seen the Twitch balance sheet?
Okay, no. We'll get into an open. Gotta get the introductions first. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I don't think anything's going to be done about it. I agree with Azzy partially on the discoverability. It's trash. But also, like, we got the elephant in the room is the viewership. Who are the viewers going to go see? Who are they supporting, right? If it's mostly like white males who are on this platform viewing Twitch, right? Who are they going to support? Who are they going to view? Right? You get the odd like minority or woman out of the pack who like gets up there, depending on the content, right? But like what you'd have to do is like do something about the viewership. Who are they, like, even if there's like some discoverability one month where they put Black people up on the platform, how often do those viewers like who view those top listed things stay with whatever content creator, right? How often do they even care to check them out? I think that's the bigger issue, is that a large portion of the viewership on Twitch can have some of their own, personal biases that keep them from checking out like creators of like minority creators and things like that. That's I think it's just as simple as that. I don't think it's going to be hard for us to like build up to create a following, like at all, in any space like where it's white dominated. And I think this is one of those spaces. So we should expect that, even though like it's not right. We got to like kind of work to make it better.
Bingo.
So I'm not decided either way on this, because it's kind of rough. One of the things to consider is that obviously the demographic of people who are streaming, who have the time in their life to be able to stream, who have the capability to have a computer, and a solid internet connection, it's predominantly going to be white dudes. It's just what happens. The people when I read a Streamlabs article, it said that I think 4% of the streamers are African American, so just African, because worldwide. It's a pretty small portion. You're not going to have a lot of people in the top if they're 4% of the streamers in total, right? But even then, what was like 3 of the 100 people, top 100 earners, were women. Every marginalized group, it's going to be harder for them to get to be these big names, because they're less of the audience, they're less of the streamers. But I'm unsure of what Twitch can really do. I know that they can increase exposure. They've added tags so that people can easily find if you're looking for a black streamer, you can check through the tags and find more black streamers. You're looking for an LGBT friendly stream, you can go through that. But then that's resulted in a lot of hate raid related stuff. So I'm unsure of what the solution is, but yeah.
Okay, if you have that article where they talk about demographics of Twitch streamers, we'd love to see it. Okay, let's go to Top.
Yeah, something. I think it was actually one of my first times on an open panel a long time ago. I've always been talking about how hard it is for like women to make it on Twitch, for Black people to make it on Twitch, minorities in general. I don't know if it's necessarily because like Twitch is going out like trying to make it harder for Black people, but like it's a platform where you have to have like real like good computer and like time, so that like that discriminates against Black people. And I mean, most of the people who have time to watch the platform are white. I'd love to see demographics on that. That would be really cool. But at the end of the day, I think like I mean, there are big Black creators like what TSM Myth, I believe he's Black, and there are big women creators. But at the end of the day, like we see in regular society, people at the top of the top of the top, the people pulling in millions of dollars, right, are going to be white. It's just I don't think this is surprising. I think everyone, if you're surprised by this, like I would be like, where have you been? And this is society, and this is all the things that like this is why we have this panel, so we can talk about shit like this and try to hopefully one day like find solutions and we can move to a better world.
Okay. Let's go to Fanatiq.
Whew, okay, so I feel like Twitch in the beginning they did do a lot of nonsense that just didn't make any sense. They were pretty selective about like who they put on the front page and everything, and it really did depend on who had connections, and it seemed like they kind of did go out of their way to specifically promote white folks, being 100% honest. But in reality, I think part of that is just because that's who's most likely to like get return viewership and stuff. People just people are, again, I've said this a billion times, people are more attracted to the things that they can relate to, and white people are going to be more relatable to white people. Like Gabriel Iglesias, right? Like the comedian, he's really, really popular amongst Hispanics. Niggas ain't watching him, right? Because like his humor is geared towards Hispanic because he's talking about the Hispanic experience. It takes a certain kind of certain kind of comedian like Dave Chappelle who can talk about the Black experience in such a relatable way that white people can get it and they very much appreciate him, which is why he's literally the greatest of all time. So I said all that to say that I don't think there's anything like nefarious happening per se. I just think it's just part of the game. I'm not shocked at all. I think Twitch could probably do a better job. Like I think what they were doing with Black History Month was pretty cool. The idea of that. I don't know why we have to wait until Black History Month to start coming up with these ideas of promoting Black streamers, though. I feel like that could have been done quite some time before then. But Twitch is gonna do what Twitch do, so we just gotta wait around for them to finally recognize, like, hey, maybe it's appropriate for us to do more to start elevating other voices in these platforms and the streamers themselves. I would say I appreciate Destiny for very much coming onto this platform pretty regularly and like hosting Prime and discussing things like issues with Prime and stuff, and like helping bring some of his audience towards that. I think he's done a good job there, which is I think that kind of thing needs to happen more. Not from him because he's already doing his job, but maybe from the other people. But I don't expect people like Vosh to do things like that because Vosh is racist.
Yeah, let's make Prime the big Black streamer that
Oh,
we
that's-
all want. Let's do it.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Let's put Prime at the top of that list.
Okay. I'm gonna be expected to say something. Bosch stopped by the other night.
Oh yeah, he'll do it every blue moon whenever it's opportune for him, but he's still racist. So.
Okay, all right. This channel is taking no stance on that. No stance at all. Okay, all right. GSU Gambit.
Yeah, so yeah, okay, I'm not muted. Yeah, so with these things, I don't necessarily understand like when we look at our experience in this country offline, we can see that it's harder for Black people to make it. We can see that other people attempt to seem to invest less in Black communities than their own communities. So the idea that just because we're virtual and we're online now, that those implicit biases or in-group biases would change is silly to me. So I understand that on Twitch, white males are going to be probably the most profitable and I don't. I think it's based off the implicit biases of the viewers and maybe of the company itself. I don't know if there's things that I can point to directly in Twitch that seem to show that they're like pro-white, but we understand how in-group biases work. So the idea that just because we're on Twitch and we're not out in the real world, that the data would look differently is, I don't know, it's a fool's game to me. It's like duh. Like, I don't know, it's like self-evident.
Yeah, okay. And just sorry, side note to Django. I don't know if they put it in here. Maybe I'm missing. Oh, I have to download the full report. Okay, can't do it on my phone. Because I was just wondering like how many people actually responded to this survey. So I was just a little distracted by that. If you could find that out, that would be really, really great.
Sure, look into it.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. We'll open to the panel.
Yeah, I mean, was anybody surprised?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
I was surprised though that like that I was just surprised that other people were surprised. That's the only thing that shocked me. I was like, what did you expect? Like when you look for when you see the front page, when you look for new streamers, like who are the first people you see? Like the names that you hear are like Soda Poppin's huge. I can't go down the list because I don't watch a lot of big streamers anymore. But like Forsen, I don't know big names. Fuck.
Right.
Anyways, they're big names. Like, you would think of a ton of them.
Like,
Oh, Co Carnage. Like you can name a ton of them. You try to name how many people of color streamers you know. It's not a lot. Even if you try to, people talk about a lot about female streamers. Try to name all your female streamers. Not a lot of people can name nearly as many as the white streamers they can name. If you like give them a minute and a pen and paper to like write down
white
everybody,
male streamers.
like they're gonna come up with vastly more white names that are big streamers. It's no surprise.
I'm not surprised that people are surprised about the women thing though, because like there's this narrative going around that like all Twitch is like women with tits out, and that's all who gets all the viewers. When like if you look at all the data, it's still white dudes. It's always been
and
white
it's white dudes
Well, sure,
watching. It's white dudes watching that too.
But you can't ignore the fact that like Amaranth is like literally the highest paid female, I believe it was, and she was like literally just licking a microphone with her camel toe directed at the camera, like while she's like
yeah,
that.
I'm not trying to deny that like that content doesn't exist, but like
and it is the most popular for women.
For women, yeah,
it's hard. It's very hard for women to get past a certain point. I think Pokemon's talked about this before, where it's like growing initially is and making a living off streaming is easier than if you're a male. However, kind of ascending higher gets harder and harder. If you're a female or a person of color, like you just start hitting barriers.
Even Amaranth isn't like I think she might be the only one who does that kind of content and is at the level where she's at, right? Like most of the people who are like
there's like
females, right?
There's another one for
are like the wholesome like OTV people, right?
There's some others that are I don't know the names like that. There's one Fox something, whatever. I don't watch these people.
Indie Fox is banned, and she still wasn't to the level that she had to stream at like 1 a.m. and she had to like and she might have made more money, right? She might have made a ton more money than some of these people, but in terms of like how many, like they get more money per viewer, but they don't get as many viewers, and a lot of that's because their money comes from elsewhere.
I hear you. I just want to push back a little bit on Fanatiq, because like you're saying Amaranth is the top one of these, like for women, right? The top female streamer. But I think that maybe says more about men than anything else, right? That like
sure. What did you think I was implying from that?
Oh, maybe I got it wrong. Never mind. I thought you were implying something else. Okay,
are we gonna take the onus off of Amaranth?
I mean, Amaranth, like I think it's unfair to like just categorize her as only that. She goes into a ton of different content, right? And she hits every single basis, including like
but what is she doing? What is she consistently doing right now?
Her main content.
She can wait. Hold on. Amaranth has like I don't know her content like super intimately, but I do know she's been on the platform a really long time, and she rotates and she does whatever pays. So if what pays was her playing video games, she would do video games. When it was her doing like Dance Dance Revolution streams, she did Dance Dance Revolution streams. If it's her licking a microphone with her ass in the camera, it's her licking the microphone with her ass in the camera. It's not. She's not doing this because this is the type of content when she finds the best. She does whatever pays.
Yeah, she follows the meta. So when it was Hot Tub, that's what she was on.
Yeah.
And then when it became licking a microphone with her
twat, to crack down on this, like you come for Twitch, you say, "Hey, Twitch, like this is stuff that you shouldn't promote." And I'm not
100%.
saying that they should
But
or
we
shouldn't do
are.
that, but like,
But we
I agree.
are.
Hold on, but that was my
you said,
fault.
like, I would take it off of Amaranth, right? To say like, oh, she ought not do this. Like, as long as she's paying and she's not getting banned for it, she should do it because this was gonna earn the money. And that's
Sure,
what
that was
people are
my fault.
watching, right?
I let us go down that rabbit hole. That was my fault. In reality, like that she's she has the ability to do whatever the frick she wants to do. So if that's what she's doing, that's what she's doing. Like I don't really care about
But
that. Like,
it's not
that's
it's
her
not
life.
a
But ultimately, I think the bigger conversation should just be about the fact that in reality, yes, they are all white males. Amaranth is absolutely an exception, and she's having to be sexually exploitative in order to even make like whatever, and she's still not at the actual top. So
Yeah,
it says
like, does
says a
anybody
lot.
have
It's
the
very
list,
white
like,
male or
of
dominated.
the top
thing.
150 earners? Like, where was she on that list? I can't find that list
She's
right
number
now.
48.
I didn't even
Yeah.
need that
Pokemon,
list.
Pokemon
She's
is
top,
above her.
number
Battle.
48. Yeah,
said
Pokemon's
was
fucking
above her?
massive.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I like I watch like Trainwrecks TV sometimes, and he'll have like all the top streamers on there at some point, right? They'll say it like they've said before, like this commented about like these women being on the top streamers is like they've clearly like stated like that's a lie, and like they like people on there would talk about how much they're earning and like because of the viewership like they're making millions like they've like expressed this before. This isn't a secret. I don't know why this was such a big thing and why even it needed to be like even leaked, right? We know who the top people are. Like a lot of them, they're like their endorsement deals, their subs, everything. Like you go on their page, like you go watch their channel, they're getting hype train after hype train, don't even have to acknowledge it, right? They're just like they're getting so much money, so much like viewership, like it's insane. So like it's this isn't secret, and like they're always on the top, like top stream, like promoted. There's like pages up there. They're all over YouTube. They're all over everywhere. Like this isn't a surprise,
Well,
and it's like,
you don't think it's like it makes sense that Twitch is gonna promote the pages of the people that bring them the
yeah,
most viewership, right? It's
yeah, of
not
course.
necessarily
The
nefarious
most
that they're
money,
on the front
right?
page.
Which
Yeah,
is
it's not
why I don't.
nefarious. We just don't. We probably want, or at least I want more representation. Just
That's
for
why
me
I don't.
personally. I mean,
I
I
don't
think
put it
it's
all on Twitch. Like it's the viewership. Who is like where's this money coming from? It's from viewers, like either subs or like advertisement, like where are their eyeballs going to? And like that's the thing. If you want to if this change is gonna like happen, that's where the change is gonna happen. And even if Twitch does everything it can, keeps black people on the front page every day for like a year, right? It all depends on the viewers who are gonna stick around for those like streams. Right. And if you can't change that demographic, if you can't get those people to relate to like minority individuals, it doesn't matter how much you do. Right. The top streamers are all going to be white males still.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like the easy conversation.
Okay.
I mean, you said it was going to be more chill.
Yeah,
I
but
thought he said the first one he thought was
I
gonna
thought
be
we were
more
gonna
chill,
go
right?
into more of the business practices of Twitch, not just
Yeah,
like the
we
streamers.
can. Yes, I know. Yes, we're gonna do all of that.
Because this literally is about
But
money. It's about the
yeah, I know. I just want to
I don't
because there
know.
are people, like so. For instance, that article that I linked previously was a streamer who seemed to imply that this was a matter of like racial discrimination. Some people are going to have this view. Like, what should be said to those people when you hear something like that? That like is Twitch at all failing?
Yes.
Maybe in promotion, or is it? Or is it like attracting a black audience to begin with? Like, not just black audience, just like other audiences other than white, basically. Do you...
Twitch could literally allocate funds to have a set designation to make sure promotion gets to where it needs to go.
If they wanted to advertise and bring more different
If they wanted
demographics
to,
in, they
yeah.
could. They definitely could. But
Wanted to. They don't. In fact, like
Wait,
you
hold
know
on.
what?
They absolutely do. Twitch definitely goes like
out
so,
of
like,
their
this-
way.
I'm okay. I'm not saying that like every single thing they do is like to promote it towards black people.
Okay,
But
so it's
Twitch-
not. It's
wait,
not
but this
before
is, like,
you even go.
This has been a really big problem. Is that like Twitch and platforms like Twitch, especially gaming platforms, spend a lot of money going out there trying to get women and black people because they want that piece of the pie too. Right now, I'm not saying they're out here promoting black streamers the way they could. I'm not saying that Twitch couldn't do more. I'm not saying the ways they're doing it are effective, but these platforms are, it's known that these platforms go out and they try to get these people on the platform, but these people don't come. And people who can convert these people get tons and tons of money for doing it. Right? Like if I don't remember the actual numbers, but like if you like I know like if you will get paid way more money if you can get a woman to come over the platform than if you can get another white dude to walk over, right? Or if you can get a black guy to come over, a black woman to come over, than if you can get another white guy, because these people are like extremely difficult to get onto the platform.
Yeah, but they can designate money to make sure that they are building the brand and the community of these individuals so that it's easier for the next set generation of streamer to make sure they can be found. This is an easy tech solution. Easy.
Tell me how they do it, Azzy. That's what I want to know.
They literally stream on their AWS streaming platform, and they show you all the updates that they do, all they make. Amazon does all the time. They show you what they're doing all the time. And matter of fact, I was speaking to some black streamers who are, and by the way, who are yet to get partner, and they know what's going on behind the scenes. It's just it's lackadaisical. Right. They're basically doing most businesses do, where they kind of go along with the trend of promotion because now it's trendy to hey let's get let's get a black guy or the trans guy or the woman, or let's have Hispanic month and just post them on the front, but there's no real money allocation to it.
What? I'm sorry. What does that? I'm not exactly sure what you.
It's a brief moment in time to make people like it's just purely surface level.
Okay. So what you're asking for, and maybe I don't know. Maybe this is a fair argument. Maybe it's not. But to have maybe you're asking for a more sustained campaign rather than like on Black History Month. So on Black History Month, they had black people on the front page, right? On the whole carousel, and they had like a special like below on the front page, they had like a special segment dedicated just to black streamers, and they did some other stuff. They had conversations with black streamers. They had like with management of Twitch.
Yeah, but I purely see that as PR moves. Those are,
oh no, wait.
Listen. Let me finish.
What more do you think they should be doing? Because you're just saying a whole bunch of stupid shit.
No, I'm not.
What more do you think Twitch should be doing?
No, I'm not. Because I've seen it in other countries as well. In fact, Fox, the channel itself said, because we the country, the demographics of the country does not look like what our company looks like, we need to change the practices and hire and put more money to get more people here, to make the demographics of Fox to look more of what the country is being represented by. Literally, Twitch is doing PR efficiency moves. They're not ethical. They're not effective. If they were effective, shoot, Prime would have like 1,000 like almost every night, and he was on front page. Like come on, bro.
I
don't know. Like
literally, understand what Azzy's saying. Like, because my idea was they need to advertise more in like black spaces or into just like where like meet black people where they are with their advertisements, right? Or minorities in general, right? A lot of like I know like 3 black people in my life who know about Twitch, and one who actually does any support, like who goes on Twitch, watches and supports other streamers. Like out of all the black people I know. So like this, and it's mostly because they like a lot of like minorities don't know about this platform existing.
So Chris,
right?
I disagree. It's just they don't watch it because
let GSU end. GSU, please.
You don't want to answer shit. So Chris, do you think Twitch is going out of its way to advertise itself to white people?
They don't need to. Right?
No, I'm asking you a question. It's a yes or no question. I asked if they need to. I asked you, are they directly? Do you think that something about that advertisement campaign is directly for white people? Yes or no? Not do they need to?
The majority of the bigger faces are white, right?
That's
understandable. No, because they.
Did I ask you whether the majority of the faces white, or did I ask you? Do you think there's something specific about the way Twitch advertises itself to get more white people on the campaign or target it towards white people?
No, like, but that's why I brought up white, like, because their bigger like faces are white, right? That's the demographic of people, their viewership, and that's who they watch, right? Those are the faces they use to advertise, right? So of course you're gonna get more people who relate to those people into the platform. But if you want to have more minorities, more black people or women to be in this space, I think you have to go out of your way to reach those people where they are. Because a lot of like some people may stay away from this space because they don't know much about it or they assume something about it, right? They have a lot to assume, especially with hate rates being a thing like going around on Twitter.
There's
Like, but like if they have to like make these efforts to advertise to make the space like safer, more like welcoming to like minorities and like people of color. And I'm not saying this is going to switch the demographics and black people are going to start like hitting all the top charts of the ranks. I'm just saying there's something more they can do. I already said like there's not much they can do with the viewership itself being more relatable to relating more to white people.
So you're saying Twitch should start an ad campaign and they should be in the hood advertising? I don't. That's your prescription. I mean, that's fine if it is, but I'm just trying to understand. Y'all seem to be like throwing all of these like emotions toward Twitch, and I'm just trying to understand.
I don't have
what-
any emotion stories. That's why I said I
No, no,
understand
Well, maybe
partially.
it's more Azzy than you. But
no,
just-
because it's not emotional, and you're no, because
Okay.
it's not an emotional thing. This is I'm
So
looking at their
you-
business.
So like, what do you want
looking
them to
at
do?
the
Like, Samantha
business-
said,
yeah,
want
so
them to
you would be more.
advertise
So
it?
Chris, your satisfaction would
No,
be,
there needs to
I
be more
want them
back.
to
There needs to be more
advertise in
back.
Black-owned spaces.
There
Yeah,
needs to be more back. I don't
I should-
understand. I said what they're doing, what they've basically been doing is a lot of marketing, a lot of PR. Basically, what a lot of other companies do anyway. Whenever it's like a black related issue or any type of minority related issue, they have this little trend. They
Yes,
they
companies
jump on
work
the
the same.
trend and start they start pumping in all the ads and all the marketing for a little bit, and then it just kind of slowly dies off, and there hasn't been any type of
Yeah, and I think
residual
regular-
fruit
I
from
think
it.
regularly
that's just
There was
so
regular,
disingenuous,
like I
though.
said, if they did a little bit more on the back end and started like there are plenty, like I said, there's plenty of black streamers who are still waiting on getting partnership. There's a lot of black streamers who are just waiting to shoot. They can't even. Oh my! A lot of people who have been partnered don't even get put on any type of regular events. A lot of them are curated. There's barely any communication between people who are actually partnered right now as we speak. They don't get put up on the because they don't look or sound a certain way. They don't get put up on any of the events. So
So
they
you
don't
think
get,
they're discriminating? You're saying
no, it's not.
specifically-
It's not active. I'm saying there's this passive. There's
What
this
is-
passive.
So you
know,
think? Wait. Just to understand, you think there are content creators that are black that have the same viewership of the people that are put on the front page?
No, I'm not.
and
I
they're
didn't say
hiding
that at
them.
all. Didn't say
So
that
you
at
think
all.
people
Did
that
not say
have
that at all.
less?
I
so you-
literally said they don't get the viewership because Twitch doesn't put in the work to make sure that they are
So-
a part
so
of
is
the
Twitch doing
event.
this
of
for
Twitch.
white
Do you think
streamers?
do you think
Part of
that
the culture.
Wait.
to the white streamers?
Hold on, wait. Does Twitch find lower viewership white streamers and put them in these spaces? And
I
you're saying they
literally
should
know a
also
guy
do
who
it for black people?
I literally know a guy who averages 10 streamers, but yes, they will go out their way to find small streamers.
So-
Yeah,
so
I know
someone
a guy
who
named
averages
I
10
don't even want to
viewers
name drop him. I don't
Alright.
want to name drop him
But
because he
that's-
doesn't want to be name
that's okay,
dropped on
that's
his
okay,
channel.
But they
But there's
average
a guy
10
who
10 concurrent
Huh?
viewers. They average 10
yes,
concurrent viewers.
he's a Rocket League. He's a Rocket League streamer.
And then what
He
happened
averages
to them? And what happened to them?
literally
He was on
they
the front
had
page?
one. He was on the front page. He was getting 50 for like Black History Month, and then 10 for the months, 10,000 for the next few months, and then his numbers slowly dwindled, and you never heard from him again until there was like another event. It was a Calvin Klein event, and he showed up again, and his numbers
this is
popped
like-
up, and then he
I'm
slowly
sorry.
dwindled down.
So
Twitch
wait,
will-
I'm sorry, but it sounds like
Twitch
content
Twitch
sucks when they
gives
don't put 'em on
yeah, so
the
if Twitch
page,
gives
right?
him the capability to have an audience and then he's unable to maintain that audience, that sounds like it's on him.
No, it's not about him maintaining it. It's not about. I'm saying there's a lack of consistency. If we have so many events right throughout the year, and you have a network, and you have the capability, you can reach out to a bunch of people. You could do that consistently, at least more often than what
So-
you're doing now.
What a company doesn't want to have to do is to continually promote a stream for that stream to be considered, like, for people to keep watching it. If a stream can be pumped up once and people start going to it more naturally, that's a good investment for them. People are going to keep watching that stream because they showed it to them once and they kept going back to it. If you have to keep telling people to go to the stream, they don't want to go to the stream.
But that's not true because Amaranth is on recommended and Infinity thing.
Because people go and stay there.
Hold on. Yes. Hold on.
Goes to her anyways.
Are you trying to tell me that that being on the recommended reel won't affect your viewership?
It's not.
How did you get that? Wait, no.
I'm asking from Django. From Django said it's built that way, and he's saying it's not because of it's not working both ways. It's because you have a lot of viewers. You're on the recommended. But I'm trying to say,
no. Have high viewers are probably going to consistently be in the recommended wheel. What are you saying?
The recommended is not. There's the big streamers, and then there's the stuff that's curated for you personally based upon what you see.
Yeah.
Like literally, they'll say,
Azzy,
you'll like these streamers because you watch this.
So the goal when you put somebody on someone's curated stream, right, is to get them to engage with content for the longest amount of time, right? And the less money you have to put in somebody, right? So if I have to put a stream on the front page every time to get you to go to the said streamer to spend time on that streamer, that costs more money than if I can show you this streamer once and then you continuously come back to the streamer and I don't have to show them to you on the front page again.
Yes, that's fine. Well, it costs more money in the short term, but in the long term,
wait, in the long term, I don't want the same amount of money in the short term.
Wait, it's not the same amount of money. Oh my goodness.
There's nuance that y'all are missing. With algorithms like this, if I display something consistently that people don't react to, it also makes it less likely that thing will be displayed in the future. So this is how people do SEOs on Google, blah blah. Like if there's a certain keyword and your something is linked to it, and people that search for this thing never engage with your content becomes less likely to be given to the next person as a suggestion. So if there are streamers like your friend, it sounds like that when he's connected to some type of event, if people aren't engaging with him, it becomes less and less likely that he's going to be on that recommended wheel. Like that's basic. That's like basic fundamentals of how some of these algorithms
but
work.
no, I get recommended from people who have like 10. I'm looking at somebody who has 10
have
viewers.
Like a complicated AI the way like YouTube has it. Twitch, I'm pretty sure until like super recently, the way Twitch's algorithm worked was like
shared viewer. It's shared.
If somebody watches Prime and somebody watches Azzy, and then like people who generally watch Prime and Azzy also watch Fanatiq, so we're gonna show them Fanatiq. It was like that dead simple. They don't have like this is one of the big problems that everybody talks about with Twitch, right? Is that like they don't have any like complex AI that like promotes discoverability. They don't put money into features that help grow communities. They put money into things that make them money, and that's what they do, right? That's like the huge conversation that's happening like outside of the race conversation, right?
But and that's why I'm saying there's so much allocation of funds to that.
Okay,
that
maybe
there's not a love.
Hold on, but to pretend like Twitch doesn't put money into like the African American community, like I wish they did better at it, but they I guarantee, like what's his name? Who was the guy who came? Like T-Pain started streaming on Twitch. You don't think he got like a couple $1 million at least to do that? Like they probably picked him specifically because he was black, and they wanted him to come on Twitch and bring black people to Twitch. And you know what? It doesn't work because
it does work. He's grown.
He is endemic to the audience, right? People who come and watch T-Pain, they don't come back and go watch fucking TSM Myth or Amaranth or XQC. They leave the platform when he leaves because they're not like the right type of users who are going to continue to watch content. What we need is more people who like fit the community, who are African American, join the class, and that's a really hard problem to solve. But Twitch also, I would say, doesn't always do it in the correct way. Like there's really good ways you could do it. Like there are probably African American YouTubers and stuff out there who are closer to the type of content we have on Twitch, who we could promote and stuff like that. Right.
So okay, all right.
But they don't have the money because Dr. Lupo and all their top streamers.
Oh, okay. We gotta let somebody win. And we'll go to Chris in a second. But like, I just need to say that in terms of Twitch's advertising, at least in the U.S., I hear it's different in other countries. But in the US, Twitch's advertising is utter shit. It's garbage. Like, I don't know what the fuck these people are thinking. Because what you should be doing.
Wait.
Let me make my point. Right? So what you should be doing. This isn't a specifically about black communities, but like just basic, right? When you watch streamers' numbers, right? You look at their numbers. For everyone who isn't a pro gamer, right? Someone who isn't like a pro Valorant gamer or I don't know, a pro Street Fighter gamer, right? For anyone who isn't a pro gamer, like once they leave just chatting and actually do any sort of gaming, their viewership dips, right? Why does that happen? Because people enjoy the parasocial relationship, right? They enjoy connecting with these individuals, getting to know them, right? Getting a glimpse into their lives. That's for so many people. That's what they love about Twitch, right? That's what they come in for, like, because they're lonely and they just want to connect with this person, right? And then they start playing a game. It's like, well, they're not going to be paying attention to chat. You know, maybe I'll go somewhere else, right? And I'll see them later. That happens all the time. Like, if I wanted to vastly increase like my female audience, I would hit that up. Like, there's a lot of connections that you can make here, right? Like, you could show your biggest just chatting streamers, see all the crazy shit they do. They do so many things. There's so much different content that happens in just chatting. This happens in just chatting, right? But it's never promoted like that. It just doesn't happen on, at least as far as I've ever seen it. If you want to hit these African American communities you're talking about, then there's targeted ways you can do that too, right? There are plenty of places you could go where African Americans are at, where other minorities are at, and you can design campaigns around that. I haven't seen it. It might exist, but I just haven't seen that. But I'm just saying that, like, to say that specifically, it's their black advertising, right? Like them not looking for a black audience. I don't know what the fuck Twitch is looking for in general. I don't know, like people said, like they don't know many black people who know about Twitch. I don't know many people who know about Twitch, right? That's
Wait, but that's so weird though, Prime. Like, we keep making it. First off, I don't know how we could say that Twitch has some of the worst advertising. They're like literally. Well, it doesn't matter. They're the 27th most visited website in the world. So it sounds like they're doing something right. If they're not spending a bunch on advertising, it's probably because they don't have to, because they're the 27th most visited website in the world. So with that being said, like,
does that translate into money?
They need to do. As far as like advertising specifically to the black community, I don't really think they go out of their way to advertise to any community. So I don't know that that's like really a shortcoming of them.
What?
They don't need to. Like, I don't know.
It's not about need. It's not about need. It's not they don't need to do anything. They are
grow.
A $5 billion business.
Hold on.
But
I disagree with some things, but obviously I want Chris. He's been waiting patiently.
Like, Brian was exactly, if you're trying to grow, right, you advertise, you put yourself out there. YouTube advertises, like Google advertises. Like, even though Google definitely doesn't need to advertise shit, but they still do, right? Like, Twitch, I only found Twitch because of the streamers who are involved with Twitch, not any advertisements that's involved with it. I only started seeing advertisements once I started regularly engaging with Twitch. And the
have you seen YouTube ads in the hood to tell people to go engage with YouTube?
YouTube is on a completely different level, though. So YouTube,
but
is,
like,
I have seen YouTube
Facebook,
ads
like what, like all of these sites are wildly popular. This is silly.
They didn't start that way. When I was like growing up on the internet, right? As these things come up, like YouTube just starts being everywhere. Everywhere I was, everywhere like black family members and friends are on the internet, right? You just can't escape it. You couldn't escape MySpace the same way. You couldn't escape Facebook the same way. Everybody, it was just in their eyes. It was like an app on their phone, right? They like it was just.
Do you think gamers can escape Twitch?
Yes. Plenty of them do. There's not every gamer on the planet is like on Twitch at all.
So you think there are wildly popular gamers that don't engage with Twitch, or some Twitch like
a bunch just left?
Yeah, and there's still popular gamers on YouTube that like just stream on YouTube or Facebook. Like, they don't have to come to Twitch, right? They never did, right? And then you have some now who like or
no, but do you think they know about Twitch?
So
you're saying that the demographic
now, but like
the demographic that Twitch is relevant for knows about it, and the demographic that it's not relevant for doesn't know about it. It's obvious.
But if you're trying to grow, you try to like branch out to other audiences and try to bring them in, right?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're trying like
It's
why-
obviously flawed.
This is the heavily like white male audience that focuses purely on gaming. Now that makes sense because it started on gaming, right? And Twitch, like they fought, like I remember it happening. I remember seeing this happen from a distance, right? That Twitch fought other types of content that was being put on the platform. Like it was like, okay, you got to be gaming. If you're not gaming, then you got to get the fuck off. This is a thing that happened, right?
They suppressed
Yeah.
just chatting for so long
Yeah.
until they finally embraced that.
Yeah, exactly, right? And just chatting now is one of the most popular categories, right? Because of that. So I'm talking about expanding their view, right? So like we're looking at these numbers that Django provided, right? Thank you for that. Of those breakdowns, right? You can look at the female breakdown. Why is there such a difference? Like because you have a gold mine in just chatting. You have a gold mine. And people just relating to each other and having fun and doing pranks or making things. Like there's so much that happens on this platform that it should be bigger with all kinds of audiences. So you're saying like the audiences that it doesn't appeal to aren't here. They don't know about it, right? But I think there are a lot more audiences that it does appeal to. They just haven't been exposed because Twitch is like lives off in its own corner because I think of its gaming roots and its gaming focus. Like it just lives off in its own corner of social media. It doesn't intertwine. People don't like. You can move people like audience members from YouTube to Twitter to Facebook, right? You can move them around. You can move those people, but getting them to come to Twitch is a different matter. People don't know what this is. They don't know how to engage with Twitch in the same way.
And then when they get here, it's hard for them to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, look what Facebook did. Facebook didn't start out like what it is now. It was like a college like networking site for college students, right? And they saw the opportunity and expanded from there, right?
Massive
And
growth.
so they hit every audience they could. Even later on, like when they didn't need to, they saw gaming was a thing and they hit that audience too. They didn't need to at all.
And they're not. They didn't just hit that audience. They're exploding in that audience. They're taking tons of market share off of Twitch and a little bit off of YouTube. Like we're talking like Fanatiq brought up that it's like the 47th or whatever like most like visited website or whatever. But when we're talking about who Twitch is like competing with, it's YouTube, it's Facebook, right? Who else? I don't know. Like I guess maybe TikTok and Instagram live streams, which are
Wait,
kind of
please
different
don't do
thing.
that. Come
Like
on.
wait, hold on.
not
These are
real.
literally like the Twitch's competitors, right?
No, they're not.
Like-
They're entirely they're in an entirely different field. So like
No,
yes, like Facebook,
no,
YouTube,
not
Facebook,
at all.
Facebook. Okay, so
Yeah.
for years, obviously Twitch was done for gaming. Facebook didn't even have a Facebook gaming section. YouTube didn't even have a streaming platform. It was just for videos for so many years. While Twitch was like dominant, and at that point, Twitch I think at one point was the 5th most viewed website in the world. Obviously, these platforms were just larger in general. Facebook is a larger platform. YouTube is a larger platform. So then it ended up making sense that these companies would eventually adopt like gaming and things like that. They were already bigger platforms, so they did do that. So like yes, but they're not literally competing in like the exact same
Wait,
spaces
hold on.
for sure.
Wait,
furthermore,
hold on.
talking over me.
For
I
myself,
have been
okay?
quiet this entire time. Shut the hell up while I finish my point. Furthermore, if you want to get into specifics, like talking about like how they're doing things like if dang, I almost lost my train of freaking thought. If you were to look at just the numbers for just Facebook gaming or just Twitch gaming or just YouTube streaming, right? And you look at those numbers, Twitch is still completely dominant, right? Like it's not that these other things are competing with them or
You're
beating
very
them. It's
quiet.
just
You're
they're
very
totally
quiet.
different
I
things.
can barely hear you. Can you up it?
Oh, it's fine. I was saying that if you look at like Facebook gaming and Twitch gaming, right? I'm sorry, and YouTube gaming, and you look at those things, then you can find like a more direct comparison for like how they're actually doing numerically, and it seems like Twitch is like still.
So wait, hold on.
It doesn't matter.
So what I was saying, right, is not necessarily. I wasn't saying that Twitch is competing with the entirety of Facebook, right? But when you're talking about gaming, and it's YouTube is way bigger than Twitch for gaming, right? YouTube gaming is massive. And if you're talking about
Link it.
live
Find me the numbers.
streaming,
Find me the
right?
numbers. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Find me the
Just
numbers.
go to the YouTube gaming tab. When you're talking about, I'm not
No,
talking about
no.
live
Find me the
streaming.
numbers. Find me actual numbers. I don't want to. I don't want to do that.
You
Find
want
me
me
the
to find
numbers.
this?
What
I
does
think you're making it
bigger
up.
mean to you when you say
This
bigger?
isn't even a point I should have to defend. That like YouTube gaming like videos aren't like some like.
I'm not just talking about videos. We're talking about streaming. Twitch is a streaming platform. So as a streamer, we're talking about streaming. So if
you start saying dumbass shit, okay? Because I was just about to go there. I literally said gaming videos, dog. I let you finish. I interrupted you once.
Gaming and streaming and how they're not anyway. Now you're literally just going to start moving the goalposts. This is why you're being an idiot. I know you know better than this.
No,
Very
you didn't let him
clearly, we're
finish
talking
the
about
sentence.
Twitch as a streaming platform for gaming, and now you're talking about, and I saw you try to sneak that in there, and I saw it, and I know you did it, and I know that you know you did it. You literally went and said, "Oh, we're
about
talking
5
about
minutes when I
gaming.
get there,
We're talking
dog.
about we were talking about gaming videos." No, we know that there's a difference between those two things.
Dog,
Stop
how are
it.
you going to interrupt him
Continuous
mid-sentence and then get mad that he didn't fully explain himself? He was mid-sentence. Chill, dude.
It wasn't that he didn't fully explain himself. It's that
He
he
didn't
tried to
finish the
sneak something.
sentence, dog.
He did finish a sentence. I know when I interrupted. I know when I interjected. If he could have opened with that, I clearly defined what the terms were, and he tried to move the.
He didn't
freaking
say any
goalpost.
video
If y'all
of him.
niggas
He
weren't
said-
smart enough to catch it, that's
Brothers,
your enough to
please.
do. I'm smarter than you.
Brothers.
nigga. I know what the freak that nigga did, and he know what the freak that nigga did. Freak out of here.
Okay. Whatever you want to say for that. But at the end of the day, right?
We ain't gonna
Twitch-
get no viewership with you dropping the
Anyways,
N word,
right?
bro. We're not
So,
T-Pain, all
YouTube
right?
gaming, like I said, is bigger than Twitch. And when you talk about live streaming, yes, Twitch is the dominant force in live streaming. That was my very next sentence, dog. Okay. However, they've been losing market share for the past 2 to 3 years. They're dropping. People are going elsewhere. YouTube gaming has stolen market share. Facebook gaming has stolen market share. Mixer stole a little bit, and then they died off into irrelevance. Like all of these places are competing in live streaming, and they have much larger endemic audiences to pull people to it from. And so the second that YouTube gives a fuck about live streaming, or the second that Facebook gives a fuck about live streaming, and they actually push this shit, Twitch is gonna go into the dust. And I don't know about you, but I don't really want to see Twitch go. Twitch is a nice place.
Oh man.
Okay, so first off, that's completely fake. One, you don't have any numbers to support that. And
Hold on.
It's
I will go
incredibly,
get
it sounds
numbers.
incredibly, and it
Twitch-
sounds
if
incredibly
you don't
vacuous.
believe that Twitch's
It would make
market
such a
share
really
has dropped
ridiculous
over the last
statement,
3
like,
years,
wait, if we just look in the fact that if once these companies
Fanatiq
involved in
hasn't been
these
paying
other
attention.
platforms, then obviously some things are going to take from it.
Fine,
Like, yes,
for some reason
that's
you're
an
muted. I don't know
obvious.
if you know.
That's okay. That's an obvious point.
You've
Like
been muted, so you've been trying to like tell people to be quiet and stuff. We can't hear you. At least
Yeah.
You guys can't hear
so,
me.
There you go. We can hear you now.
right now.
I was talking the
Well,
entire time. Okay.
Okay, we can hear you now.
I didn't
So anyway,
know.
so
Yeah, we can hear you now.
it's an obvious point that yes, like if you look at something like if you look at their inclusion of things like once the biggest platforms in existence add on what Twitch has primarily focused on, they're going to steal some of the market share. But that's just obviously true, right? I don't know why that needs to be said as if that's some sort of indicative in some sort of way of Twitch's ineptitude. It just seems like very logical that YouTube, a freaking the biggest video-based platform in the world, would eventually add streaming onto it, and that would somehow impact Twitch. We know that that's going to be true, and the same thing happened with Facebook. But we know Facebook gaming isn't nearly as large as Twitch is. Okay, so I guess yes. If you guys want to, if you niggas want to pretend to be psychic, then you can do that. But obviously, what I'm talking about right now are the numbers.
It's called financial modeling.
You can see the numbers that currently exist right now. That's what I'm going to be basing my logic on. You are, if you're going to move the goalpost to something that you literally can't prove. Like I'm not talking to you, idiot. If you want to move the goalpost to something that we can't prove, like eventually it'll happen. Like I guess you can always be right there. There's no way for me to argue against it. But that's not what we've been talking about this entire time.
We literally have been talking about this entire time. We're literally talking about the fact that Twitch, because of its obviously flawed model, is giving room for other growth, and we're seeing that being implemented in other platforms, which is why there's been tons of financial models, tons of projections as to why Facebook and YouTube will outpace Twitch if Twitch doesn't do something significant, which is why I was saying
the problem
so
is
dumb.
that
I don't. So
other places
y'all
are growing.
just want to talk about
Twitch
the
is
obvious.
not.
Y'all just want to talk about the
And
obvious.
if Twitch isn't even growing, how are they supposed to bring in black people? Like,
Show me. How do you know that they're not
doesn't even
growing?
make
How do you know
sense.
that they're not growing? Can you show me the numbers? Do you have anything, or are you just going to
because
keep doing
they're
that?
losing market share, dog. Unless you think like
So
people are
they're
using
losing some of their not market share, but that means that they haven't maintained their overall growth rate. So you don't have any numbers? You don't have any? I thought so.
Oh my god, do you want me to go get numbers? Okay,
I do. Because you're just talking out of your neck this entire time. You have been. Yeah, find some numbers
I
to
thought
support what you're
this-
saying, or else
I
you're
thought
talking out of
this
your
was
neck,
obvious,
as you've been doing this entire
honestly.
time.
Hey,
Hold
I
on.
really
But
thought this
if
was
the
obvious.
rest of the industry is growing, right? I mean, if the entire industry is growing and other people are growing at a faster rate and taking more market share, then necessarily means that Twitch is growing slower than the rest of them.
I know you know that numbers don't work that way. I'm not going to entertain that.
That's
until you find-
literally how number. Okay, I'm sorry that you didn't go to math
So-
class or whatever, bro. But like,
I
that's how it
promise
works.
You, I promise
This is
you, I'm
how
better at
statistics
math than
works,
you are.
dog.
That's fine. Sure, I guess so. So you have no numbers to support what you're saying? That was what we can take away
Hold
from
on.
it? I
Okay,
thought
just give me a second.
Fanatic,
I'll
Okay,
find
can
numbers
you
for
show?
I'll wait
No, hold
patiently.
on, Fanatic. Can you show me
Well, no,
numbers that
hold
Twitch
on.
will maintain its dominance?
He doesn't have to be fair. Dolphin is the one making the claim. So to be fair,
Yeah,
Fnatic doesn't
but-
have to.
No, he doesn't. But I don't see why he's going through this
right,
whole process and just giving somebody the benefit
Chris.
of the doubt. Like, I can show you a graph, a projection of it right now. I'm gonna link you a whole archive
Okay.
of finance. I'm gonna send
Do
this
that.
directly
Chris,
to Fanatic.
Chris,
Like, this
Chris,
isn't some.
Chris.
Okay. Yeah, well, the conversation was about what Twitch should do and to grow in certain markets and bring in certain demographics, right? And we were we were saying what they could do better, how like YouTube and like Facebook are trying to like they're grabbing up parts of that like market, they're trying to like implement the things, right? Facebook has a gaming tab now, right? That wasn't a thing for years, but they're
So are
working on
they
they're
doing some
paying,
of the things that you're saying Twitch should do?
they
Are
already
they-
have they have demographics to pull from, right? So if they put that gaming like tab in their face, right? With all the demographics they have on Facebook, right? That's more exposure. Twitch
So you're
doesn't
not
have
answering my question. Okay, gotcha.
what the question doesn't make any sense. Like if you to pull from, right, and you just put the game
This is
advantage
laughable, man.
over
You're cutting
you have
out,
an
Chris.
you have an obvious advantage over Twitch, right? Facebook and YouTube definitely have an obvious advantage that they have more demographics to pull from. So if you have more demographics to pull from, right, more Black people are exposed to YouTube gaming and Facebook gaming. That's probably going to be the place that they go, right? Not saying that they're going to have like more viewership. Is just over time, right? If that's the place where they are, at least Facebook and YouTube have like a way to meet those people where they are. I'm saying Twitch should try to do that as well. Advertise more on YouTube if they can, and like certain Black spaces on YouTube or in Facebook, right? Advertise more just in general within just in a bunch of places. Like Prime already brought up that they don't advertise like well enough at all if we're trying to grow into certain demographics into certain markets and make and grow. That's what the conversation was about.
And that's it.
Trying
That's
to
all
make-
it came from.
wait. All of y'all keep
Fucking
talking.
dog
Can I
shit
talk now?
conversation.
Y'all just
Thing
keep
Fanatic
saying
brought in when he said Twitch doesn't need to advertise. By the way,
Y'all just keep saying stupid.
just
shit.
saying
Can
that's what
somebody
he
else
said.
talk?
Those were his words.
Okay, so listen, this is so fucking stupid. Okay, so Facebook and Google have a far bigger user base than Twitch. That's obvious, right? But what you all are saying is that Twitch should be doing some targeted things that even those platforms aren't doing. What you're saying is Facebook has a bigger user base. So when they start displaying streaming, more people are going to watch it, right? More different demographics, because the demographics on those platforms are, I don't even know if they're more extreme, but at least there are more available demographics. It's obvious that it's just like saying if Walmart does something, it's going to have a more diverse because more people are already in Walmart. It's like obvious. Like this is not new. There's nothing like insightful that y'all are saying. It's all nonsense. So, and then you're using that to justify saying Twitch should be advertising in the hood, which is like, it's just all stupid. Like I don't understand.
I never said Twitch should be advertising in the hood. But
Yeah,
I mean, if
yeah.
they want to, they can, right? Like, but
Who
if
said
I don't think it would be
Black
effective.
people
But the
only
problem
live in
is,
the
right,
hood?
is when you have an endemic user base,
So
where
what
it's
is
like a lot
this
more
black only
diverse,
offline
right?
place you plan to advertise to? Because you're saying, well, I don't know if it was you. There's so many people saying dumb shit that if I'm saying something and maybe you didn't say it, maybe one of your fellow other dumb panelists that's
I know,
agreeing with you said
no,
it.
but no one said they should go advertising. That was you who said that when we
No.
said that like Twitch needs to advertise
Okay,
more to
so-
Black
so,
spaces,
okay.
right?
Okay, so
Alright.
hey, Azzy, Chris,
There's a lot
Top,
of
can one of y'all tell me what offline black only space you were saying that Twitch should advertise to?
it doesn't have
I
to be
never
an
saw
offline
no
Black space, right?
See, GSC, you
Yeah.
don't listen, bro. You
Oh,
really
now
don't listen,
none
'cause
of
I
y'all
never-
ever said they should advertise in black spaces.
No,
No,
Nobody
only
says it
Prime.
now.
Only Prime said they should advertise in the
not
hood, dummy.
No, I
Black-
didn't say that. Stop. Oh my God! Look, I said they should
So
advertise
stupid.
to African Americans, right? Like, where do you advertise African Americans? Guess what? African Americans listen to the radio a lot. They're a huge demographic for the radio. So spend time advertising Twitch to them on the radio. Like, black radio is fucking huge. That's just one idea right there, right? As to what you could do, right? And you can advertise, like, what will you find there, right? Well, yes, like, if you're a gamer, well, then we got that too, right? But we have, just chatting. We have
Music.
Yes, music is a very good one, right? We have a whole bunch of categories that especially music makes a lot of sense. So we have a whole bunch of categories that you might be interested. We have celebrities, right? Because if you happen in because there's black AM radio, but there's black FM radio, right? And if you happen to be listening to, like, hip hop, well, we have some hip hop stars here, right? You want to take a look at them? We got that here. Come and see all the content we have. So
Hey,
yes,
Prime.
yeah.
Yeah, Prime, really quickly, let me just show something really quick. So YouTube gaming, here's an article, and it says YouTube gaming is lagging. Hours watched on Twitch are up 97%, but Facebook is poised to overtake YouTube. A new report from Streamlabs and Stream Hatchet shows Twitch remains the uncontested forerunner of the streaming space, generating over 72% of all hours watched across the market in Q1 of 2021. YouTube gaming also continues to grow, but has started to dwindle in the last 12 months. In contrast, Facebook gaming has almost doubled its hours watched in the last year and is steadily gunning for second place. While all three platforms are sizable audiences and an increase in Q1, Twitch saw larger levels of growth compared to last year. The streaming giant generated 6.3 billion hours watched in Q1 of 2021, a 97% increase year on year. Now, I'm not going to go into the mathematics of how this makes obvious sense on how, when you just want to compare growth rate on something having a smaller size from the beginning, that you get diminishing returns and it's harder to capitalize on growth the larger you get. Like, we don't have to go into that, because I'm pretty
that's
sure
not what I'm talking about.
even you, Dolphin, I'm pretty sure understand something as basic of that. That's why you can't automatically just look and say, well, this one is stealing some of its market share and this thing is growing, therefore this thing is shrinking.
okay.
You would need these sort of numbers. And so clearly
Why
Twitch
didn't you say
is doing a good job, is outpacing the
no,
other ones
no,
by a
no,
lion's share,
Prime,
is
this is
growing
effective.
faster than these things by a larger share. So they are doing the things right.
Prime.
So everything that you're saying, these other
I'm
companies,
glad you
which
have
are
no
much
idea
bigger,
about the
have
Prime,
much
you're
conversation.
about
more
to
That's
say
money,
okay.
that you
doing,
didn't say
you
that
don't
when
know what
Top
you're
Dolphin
talking
did.
about. So don't talk to me about numbers when you're completely wrong, which is why you never came with any data. And I'll link you the study. I'll link you the data, you actual liar.
Yeah, Prime, you're about to say I didn't say that, but that was all addressed towards Top Dolphin.
That was Top Dolphin who said all this nonsense that he couldn't substantiate, and I kept asking him for data because I knew he was wrong, and so I had to do the work myself. And he was wrong, as always.
All right, whatever you say. Okay. Okay, you got
That's a
me.
nice way of
Sure.
saying, yeah, you're right. I was wrong.
Sorry, I wasn't aware that, like, the biggest platform grew a little bit over COVID-19. But if you look at the numbers from, like, the 4 years before that, dog, they were fucking losing market share at massive rates, dog.
Oh, that's crazy, because it says year-over-year growth, so that means that they were still growing even before COVID-19.
I mean, they were growing, but they weren't growing
and they also outpaced the other ones who also grew during COVID-19. So it sounds like you're trying to make some excuse for why they're outpacing their competitors, unless you can prove that COVID-19 and Twitch have some sort of special benefit that wouldn't also apply to the others. It sounds like you were just wrong, and you're still not
It's almost
trying
like
to
the
admit it.
largest platform is going to
Crazy.
show more growth when they have an massive influx
It's
of
crazy
users.
because YouTube overall
Oh my god, you're so like
I don't-
out
I
of the
don't-
conversation.
Not the largest
That's-
platform. YouTube is a bigger platform than it. So is Facebook. YouTube is literally the second most visited
Oh,
platform.
now he's doing the thing
That's
that he
not-
teaches me
that's
doing
not
earlier.
how it works.
Right?
Okay.
Because when I was talking about like live streaming market share,
About
okay,
gaming,
he's
and lo and
literally doing the
behold
thing he's talking
now
about. He
it's
complained about me doing earlier.
Okay.
Now you want to dial it back and say, no, now we're talking about only gaming. Great. So if we're only going to talk
Like
about
how
gaming,
he
Twitch
interrupts
is better,
me, accuses
is
me of
growing
something I
faster,
never said,
is
and then goes to
growing
do the same thing. Like,
They
how,
are
you're
doing
so
everything.
hilarious,
Everything
Fanatiq.
Okay.
was wrong.
You're so
Okay, all right, we got it.
The black
We got it,
experience.
we got it,
guys.
we got it,
The
we got
black
it.
experience. Huh?
Okay, so sorry, and I was a little confused because at first, Fanatic, I thought you were responding to me, but it seems like you were responding to Top Dolphin. We can't hear you. You're saying something. We can't hear you. Are we responding to me or?
No, I was just talking to my stream. I'm sorry. I was just
Oh.
basically saying that, yeah, I was not talking at you,
Oh,
Prime.
okay.
You weren't making unfounded claims and trying to move the goalposts as someone asked you for the data, which I knew didn't exist. You weren't doing that. You
Oh
were
my
making
God.
your
Okay.
own points, which were actually valid. Top Dolphin is just trying his best to save face because he was categorically wrong by every quantifiable.
Okay, hold on. I'll get the
Fanatic,
data for you.
let me ask.
Tried to call me out on numbers earlier and said that these niggas
Fanatic.
were losing
I
market
gotta
share
ask
and therefore
Fanatic a
we're
few
not growing as
questions.
fast.
I
Crazy.
gotta ask Fanatic a few questions. Fanatic, why do you think YouTube and Facebook are coming out of pocket to go into contract with huge? I don't even think he's listening. To the audience, why in the world do you think two other competing platforms who are trying to grow their community, because that's really what's going on right now, YouTube really just has YouTube and Facebook, because they're so far behind, and the Twitch, it's easier to learn, but you know, we already talked about the gripes we have, but YouTube and Facebook are going out of their way, out of their massive, endless, almost infinitesimal pockets to take streamers from Twitch to bring them to their platform, because they know for a fact that the viewership will follow. And as they increase viewership, they can, in fact, they can try to now build the community around that. They can start to implement more things. In fact, they could just borderline copy Twitch. They could borderline copy Twitch and just do it better, because we already know that YouTube and Facebook are they are, like we said, what did he say, Fanatic, before that Twitch is the number 27 right now?
27, yeah.
Like in the 20s, and YouTube and Facebook are up there in like top 10. They're above
number 1,
Twitch
2,
right
and 3.
now. They're 1, 2, and 3. So it's very easy to transition. This is why they're making the projections that Facebook and YouTube are going to catch up to Twitch if Twitch doesn't do something now. That's the whole conversation.
But that's
what I
not a
was talking
function of how Twitch advertises. That's a function of them being
Well, that's
larger
why I didn't want to
platforms.
get into advertising,
brought
because
this-
like I
you
said,
brought this shit
I
up.
didn't know. No, Prime spoke to
Prime, this is
advertising.
what I'm saying. Like, this is
Hold
disgusting.
on. No, it's
You
not.
literally
GSU.
acting like I could rewind the tapes, nigga, in your opening or right after your opening.
I said
You're the
no.
one who brought
I
up
said
that
there-
Twitch should
no,
do
I said-
more targeted advertising to other demographics.
No, I did not. I said they need to do more back. I said they need to see. That's what I'm talking about, because you keep talking over me. I said they need to do more back end. They need to do more back end, and they need to allocate more funds to build the community so that they can have. They need to take a loss now so that they can have. There's no
Allocating funds is an advertising. Okay.
No advertising. No, are y'all
He
dumb?
wasn't talking about
Listen,
advertisement. He was
I'm not talking about advertising. I'm talking about building your UI. I'm talking about legalized bots. I'm
That's
talking
why I
about
kept separating what I was saying from Azzy.
What are
Because
y'all
Azzy was
idiots?
talking about like
That's so
taking
idiotic.
streamers
You guys
and like
don't listen.
Wait, when you talk about putting
the word
streamers on the
advertisement
PrimeCayes,
come out
that
my
is
mouth?
necessarily
No, hold on.
advertising, right? It's a
No,
type of
it-
advertising.
no,
100%.
You guys are so
100%.
simplistic. It's
He
funny,
doesn't
bro.
understand that, Top
You
Dog.
guys are so because you guys are so simplistic. It's almost laughable. You think just because somebody says allocate funds, they're only solely talking about advertising?
Okay, all
That's
right. We were
crazy.
okay. We're
I
a little
literally-
confused. I think maybe I can try to.
Is back end advertisement?
Okay, I
I
think.
literally said all that stuff is just PR. And hold on, let me finish. I literally said all that stuff is just PR, and they're just jumping on
When
the
you say
trend.
back end, what does that mean to you?
Literally fix their security. Start
What's wrong with
budgeting
that
better.
security?
If you can get hate ratings, that means something's going.
That doesn't
they
mean that
really
there's a
just
problem with
hacked.
that security.
Oh my
This
god.
is
Well,
so dumb.
Well, hold on.
I'm literally-
But that would
What
mean
did
that there's
he
a problem
just
with
say?
this.
No, it doesn't
What
mean
did
that
he
there's a
just
problem with
say?
security.
So you're saying, so if there's no problem, there's nothing to fix, right?
What did he just say?
So
bro?
this is what you got to
That's
understand.
crazy.
Twitch has the balance.
Hold on, don't pair me with them. I'm just saying on that point.
I'm trying
that's
to answer your question. I'm trying to answer your question.
Just
Okay,
making sure.
Okay,
That's the
so
dumbest thing I've
when
ever
I
heard.
when
It's
I
you.
register
You lacking
for a
right now.
site, okay, he's not gonna let anybody else talk. I'll wait on Azzy to finish monologue.
No, go ahead. I'm done. Like,
Okay, so I can have a site and I can decide what barriers do I want to put up for people to enter my platform, right? So if I say, I don't give a fuck if you have an email address, you can sign up because I want the process of signing up to be easy. If somebody then comes behind and makes a bot that creates an account, that doesn't necessarily mean I have to care. I don't have to make my sign up process be two-factor authentication that's tied to something that won't have multiple accounts. Like, I don't have to do that. It's not necessarily a problem. It's only a problem if you think that increasing the barriers would be a good thing for your company. If they don't see value in that, it's not a problem.
Yeah, so the problem is the hate raids that come out of it. So they generally want to stop the hate raids, and that ends up being a security problem.
they don't necessarily have to solve the hate rage.
No
with
shit, they don't have
making
to,
the-
but it's not good.
No, you didn't let me finish. You didn't let me fucking finish. Let me finish.
Go
They don't
ahead.
have to necessarily solve the hate rate problem by changing the sign up process. If you want to dumb fucking, you let me finish, you'd understood where I was going, but you don't fucking listen. All y'all just want to do is spout off dumb shit.
I
and
said
think you're right.
security. That doesn't necessarily mean
It's
just
not
the
a
sign up
security
process.
problem. You can put in features that don't allow people to hate rate without changing security.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't care about the hate rates. They
Well-
don't care about the soft porn. They don't care
No,
about.
they don't
They don't
care
care.
about
No, they
it.
don't. No, they don't. But get out of here, bro.
Security
They
is
don't,
not
they
a
don't,
problem,
they
but
don't
we're
care about
really
the
talking about
gambling.
the
They don't care
massive
about the
data leak
alcoholism.
that just
They don't
happened.
literally care about all the degenerate stuff that they literally have written in their TOS. All the stuff that they barely enforce, unless somebody says the N word on a white person stream, then they're up in
I knew you got
arms.
away.
Like,
I mean,
like,
I don't
come
even
on,
think
that's
they banned
only-
for that, by the way.
and they barely banned for that. That's like they're literally one of the most. They have all these practices that they don't enforce. This is one of the most terrible. Like literally right now, at one point, yeah, they were a great company. Right now, which is what we're talking about.
Well-
Right now, they don't do anything. They're heavily flawed,
No,
and
I
it's
think
showing.
I don't
Like-
know. I think they're fine. I think what they're doing to advertise more black names and black faces is fine. I mean, I don't think that like that's the main thing that's killing black streamers. I think there is a problem though that we have to look at where I think what it's considered 11% of African Americans claim themselves are gamers, and we only have what 4% of people who stream out of the totality of people that are African American.
And you know why? Because I know a lot of black people who know about Twitch. And you know what they say? Why would I go to Twitch? There's no black people there. Because they can't find any black people. Why would I go to Twitch? They know about Twitch. They just don't want to go because they don't feel advertised to.
All right, so let's.
To be fair though, you did say that you weren't talking about we're talking about
I wasn't
advertising.
talking about advertising, but that seems to be the only thing that they can remember, apparently. That's the only thing GSU can remember right now. So
I mean, yeah, there were other things, but
I guess we can't, talk about multiple things at once. We need to go
Ish.
bit by bit, let's hold everybody's hand right now.
This is laughable.
Just laugh. What do you propose, bro? You just
I
been
don't
negative
think
this whole time.
there's necessarily a problem. Like y'all are all caught up that there's like this certain problem. I don't necessarily think there is. I think that if you look at like which parts of our national culture have the amount of money to support things like this, first off, in the black community, people are going to be less likely to be able to support. Go look at Prime's top donor list and go look at how many of them black. I might be the only black one in the top 10, right? Like people may watch, but they may not have the funds to support a streamer going in terms of like revenue. So they might just be able to watch. And
That's
and
true.
like there's all of these problems, and then y'all are like, yeah, Twitch doesn't like black people. Or Twitch is implicitly biased, or Twitch is this
Whoa.
and that.
Cool. As
So
long
you're
as
making-
as long
you're
as when you
making a
say
massive
y'all,
leap
as
when
long as when you
say
say
that,
y'all,
right?
you're not
Hold
referring to
up.
me. 'Cause I didn't make
If
it.
you didn't make the
No
statement,
one said they
obviously,
don't
I'm
like
not
black
referring to
people.
you.
No one
Respect
said
that.
they don't like black people.
Stop it.
No one said no. No one said they don't like black
You
people.
said they have some kind of. Oh my god! I will make a VOD of you just because.
I said they're heavily
No.
flawed.
I want to address it right now. I will release a video later. That's it.
Please, because
I do agree that
Twitch
Assy
doesn't
did
like
say that Twitch doesn't
He
like
said
black
something
people.
like they're implicitly biased or something, and I said, "Wait, what policies do you
Wait.
think are bad?" But we
When
can
did
talk
I
about
say?
it
When
later.
did I
Wait,
talk about implicit
I don't want to
bias?
say
No,
exactly.
no, 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 no.
I
He was talking about the implicit bias of the viewers.
No.
The viewers.
Yes.
Are
No.
y'all
No.
insane? This is
Okay,
really
no,
insanity right
It's
now.
possible. It's
no,
possible.
Because
All right.
then he went and talked about
I'll
his
agree,
black
yeah, it doesn't
friend
matter.
who didn't get put on the front page, right? He was talking about implicit bias of Twitch, the company, right?
Oh, that's fair.
He
No,
specifically
I
brought
literally
that up.
was talking
No,
about.
you guys are really. I literally said they will go out of their way to find the small Twitch black streamer when it's convenient for them. They have the capability.
Yeah, and you
Right.
accused him of doing the whole thing where they're just pandering and playing to
No,
public.
shut up, Top.
Because
You need to
is
shut
your,
up.
is your
No.
implication when you say that? You said, wait, hold on. Did you not say that Twitch only
Not
does
really.
the black stuff during Black History Month, right? These are things you said, right? I'm not trying to like you.
But that's not an implication that they hate black people, right? It's just like
It is an implication that they only do things for black people when it's convenient for them, and that they have biases against black people. Are these not statements that you agree with?
I never came out my mouth that they have biases. I just kicked my stupid camera because you guys are just
I don't
speaking
like
nonsense.
it feels like
Almost
we've gone down dumb
like
routes over
toxic. This
Ozzy's
is so
arguments that are
stupid.
like not that like if you have disagreement
It's
with
like
Ozzy, I guess like, but like I don't really disagree that he wasn't like saying like Twitch is completely racist. Like he
they're
said he's
basically
been
lazy and flawed because they
yeah,
have
he's just
the
saying
money
that they
to
can
do
do
so,
more.
and they just
I don't
allocated it a little differently. You would see different results. They'd probably take a
But
loss
then
now.
Gambit's claim was that there was no like they weren't flawed, right? Wasn't that what Gambit just said necessarily, right?
Gambit just join in just to criticize.
So Gambit was directly attacking what Azzy had said, right? Because he disagrees with him, and Azzy said that he didn't say it. I mean, that's just literally just happened.
I don't get it. I'm
maybe
literally
I'm going crazy too because that's not like
I don't know. Well, you know, I think what Gambit said was like really good, and he's like one step away from what I would agree with. And he said that like, yeah, I don't think there's necessarily anything nefarious going on at Twitch right now. Well, there probably is, but not when it comes to African Americans specifically. However, I don't think that means there's no problem. I think the problem is that like things like gaming and things like live streaming are less accessible to black people. I don't think black people are inherently so different than white people that like they couldn't be in these spaces if given the ample opportunities and the resources to do it. And I think this is like a larger systemic problem of a lot of the same problems we see with black people in every other industry and every other part of the world where black people are just less.
like no one said they were pulling a Sage Steele, bro. I didn't say that they were being sinister out here. I just said that they're lazy and flawed and they're not working. They're not taking the steps to make sure that they're not making the change to make sure that YouTube and Facebook doesn't catch up to them. Well, that's what I'm saying. I said there's a lot of stuff that they're dropping. They're dropping the ball on a lot of stuff that they can improve on, and I named a lot of those things. And the only thing
to be fair, they are making changes. Because like before, there was ground that YouTube. So there were multiple like times where YouTube and Facebook would gain ground, but Twitch is now outpacing them more than they were already ahead. That is like that was never wrong.
Okay,
That's
so
true.
I want to ask something.
Symptom now.
And to everyone, do you think Twitch could be doing more to diversify its audience? All right, just yes or no. Yeah, yes or no, Azzy.
Yes.
Okay, Chris.
Of course.
GSU. GSU? He didn't hear me. But GSU, were you playing Final Fantasy 14? GSU. Okay, I don't know what's going on though. All right, Django.
Real quick, is it should they or can they? Is it the question?
Can they? Yeah, can they be doing
yeah,
that?
of course they could.
Okay. Fanatiq?
Well, yeah, but this question doesn't mean anything.
Oh my.
That's the initial question.
All right. Why doesn't it mean anything?
Because literally anything can do more. Like the thing is, how much is appropriate? Should they? Are they obligated to do more? Are they not doing enough? Are they like operating at such a level?
Are they not doing enough?
To diversify? I believe that they're doing enough because I don't really think that they have like an impetus to do anything more. I don't think that it's rooted in any sort of like overt bigotry or discrimination. So I don't feel like they have an obligation.
Me as a black person, I want like minority streamers to be bigger on the platform, and I want more diversity on the platform. I want more black people on this platform. So what I want them to do is to advertise more, to branch out more, to reach more people. Okay, from the company's perspective, why would they fucking care, right? Like, as long as they're making money, they're making money. As long as they're making. But then it's like somebody brought this up before. We're on a black panel. It's about black issues, and if we want black people to be elevated and like brought up in this space, what are the things that Twitch can do to make that happen, right? Like,
well, let's talk about what the users can do. How about more people subscribe to Prime? How about when Prime
moving
is
the
streaming,
goalposts,
how about you guys
diversion.
go ahead?
No, he's going somewhere good.
Oh,
go ahead.
Okay.
How about when you guys are streaming? I mean, when Prime is streaming his platforms, how about you stop streaming and you subscribe to? And you host his stream. How about you actually tweet out when Prime is going live? How about you guys support him since he is, in my opinion, one of the biggest elevators of black voices on this platform? I found so many streamers from him hosting other black streamers, and I go by and watch them. He doesn't exclusively host black people, but he should. Anyway, he doesn't. He's done a lot to elevate voices. So how about we do that? That sounds like
You're very much right. Today I tweeted out the panel. I'll give money where I can to the panel. I give money where I can, and I'll support as many Black streamers as I can. I'm not like the onus can't be on me. I can only do as much as I can. I'll support as much as I can, and I would encourage more like white people to do if especially if you're a leftist and you think like more Black people or minorities should be elevated in the space. Try to do your part. I mean, not everybody can be Leah. She's the GOAT. Like she's on everybody's stream. She's trying to elevate everybody. But I just do it like you can. And if you like, I don't see many like there's a lot of people in this, especially in the political space, right, who kind of avoid right minority streamers in a sense, and like they'll come to Prime stream because like that's where a big group of people come to debate, right? But like, are they like here for like when like Destiny's not here, when Vasha's not here, or here when we're doing Black panel, when he was doing the like the Amazon Lily panel where they showing up for like to support like the all women panel. Are you doing what you can if you want to see these people elevated, right? To like help support. And like there's only certain like us as minorities and women can do if we're only so little people on the platform, right? We can only support so many people. So it would be good
$1 billion companies.
Yeah, it'll be good for Twitch to help bring more people in to help support who can like give more to support to those people who would be more willing and more who would relate more to these streamers. But like that's not the case. Like Prime said, they're not doing much advertisement in general. Like really good advertisement in general. They'll advertise to the Twitch audience themselves with products and things like that, but they don't really branch out to other platforms, other spaces to do advertising. And like that's where like my gripe more is towards, right? If we want some more support, we have to increase the audience, the minority audience on this platform for minority streamers to get more support in that sense, or to become more visible on the space.
And it's kind of like unfair to blame the viewer for going to where they can see and to what they want. It's a GSU's thing. And to what I also said in the very beginning, it's working as designed. People see what they want to see. They go to where they want to go. So a lot of the viewers for Prime's panel, for his YouTube, they are supporting. Yes, there could be a lot more support. We agree. But you can't put this like just anybody, make a change, as long as you do it, it just starts with you, man. Just if you make the change and everybody's going to make the change. We're talking about $1 billion company here. They have a team. They are very strategic. They can strategically make changes if they want to. They could, like Amazon literally did, but to grow, they literally strategically bled themselves dry in order to beat the competition, in order to become the monster it is today. You can hurt your bottom line now for the short term so that in the long term you can get the results you want. And if they want Black streamers to be bigger, there's very specific things that Twitch can do. If they want to stay ahead of YouTube and Facebook, there's very specific things that they can do. And I just don't understand why there's just a failure to respond to that. It's like, it's the same thing about the other conversation. It's just this failure to address the point.
Okay.
It's just too much charity.
Okay.
I mean,
go ahead. I don't know.
Yeah. I personally think that like there's like Black people are unrepresented, like they are in lots of parts of society. And I think we definitely should put companies like Twitch to get rid of, not necessarily force Black people to use their platform, but one, try to get rid of some of the barriers that keep Black people from streaming or that keep Black people from using the platform. The same things I advocate for with women, right? And some of it comes down to the users, right? There's going to be some users who need to stop being fucking racist to Black people. I don't know if any of you experienced this, but when I was starting out streaming, probably back in like 2016, I think, and I would go and I was like a 2, 3, 4, 5 year stream. I wasn't even affiliate yet. Something that would happen is people would join my stream and spam fucking links if I did media share, or they would try to spam the N-word in chat and do all that kind of stuff. And Twitch is like, helps fight against some of that a little bit, but now we have the problem that is hate rates, right? We still have the problem that like the gaming sphere and the Twitch sphere is like toxic towards African Americans because we have this like culture that's like not really conducive. And like you might say that like it's not on Twitch to do something about it, but if it's happening under your roof, I think you're partially responsible. And there's
Wait,
like
but
steps
hold
that you
on.
can take to like
Well
remedy
said.
problems like this, right?
Well
But
said.
Twitch has like consistently done something about it. They've been at the forefront of this fight for a while. Like it's like suddenly people find some new way on like how to get around these hate raids, and all of a sudden we start like judging Twitch as if they have like just been like silent about this entire issue, and they never have been. Like the things that you're talking about experiencing are not something that are unique to you or unique to the Black experience. This is just seems to be what gaming is in general, right? Like
Well,
we
the
saw Sony
advertisers
finally
think
adapt and start
different.
saying, hey, if you report people's platforms, we'll ban them niggas, like and get them like so that they're like not able to continue to harass people. Like we're in a ever evolving world. As technology evolves, they're going to find more ways of dealing with these things. I don't think that it's anything that Twitch has done wrong, the reason why these hate raids happen. Hell, it's just people abusing the platform in order to do their things. That's not Twitch's problem. That's just a problem of online spaces and people having to deal with some of their racism and all the other nonsense. Again, this is not a Twitch issue.
But I don't think it's an exclusively Twitch issue. But like I said, it's a societal issue. It's downstream from like the societal issue that African Americans, Black people face in the world today. But
Sure.
we address that differently in every different space. Like Twitch should address it in Twitch's space. When we talk about like the legal system, the judges and the magistrates and the people who draft laws should address it in that space. It's not a problem that we fix on the outside and then it works its way in. It's a problem that we need to aggressively go after in every different place. And I don't think that hate raids are the only problem. There's tons of cultural problems. And one of the biggest criticisms people have had with Twitch is that they're instantly, like 2 seconds, will put in a new feature that makes them money, but they're very, very slow moving on any sort of community change or any like they're fucking what was it? Fuck, when it was like 2 years ago, they went on a live stream or like we're gonna do better, and then it took like a year and a half before they came out with anything like following up on that. They're extremely slow when it comes to community change, and Black people suffer because of that. So do some white people in some ways too. But like I want Twitch to make efforts towards like improving Twitch's community and one of the ways I want them to do it is to make it more accessible to Black people.
In fact, Asthma
You're saying they're
Gold, one
slow.
of the
Like, what do you
largest.
mean? How do you measure that? What are you talking about? Like, what are they
In
supposed
fact-
to be doing that they're not doing? Explain that.
We talk.
What
Top Dolphin.
What?
what do I want Twitch to do that they're not doing?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Okay. Hold on. Fuck, I lost my train of thought.
Take your time.
There's a lot.
Oh.
Okay, this is gonna sound dumb. There's a lot of things that Twitch could do, but like one of the things, like one of the things could be like solving the hate raid problem, right? That could be a start.
They've done
Right.
that twice already, right? And like now there's just a brand new patch, like where people found a way around it, and so they're doing it again. But they've always solved that hate.
Yeah,
rate.
but I mean, I guarantee you, if
And
this
they're-
is
and
a
they're
problem
working
with their
You're saying because
revenue, I
hackers
guarantee
can
you, if this
figure
is
out how to
a problem with their
exploit this.
revenue stream, the problem would have been solved a lot faster, right?
So
And
you
they
think
did.
that's
They
how
did.
you
it all.
think
They
because
didn't.
there's a technical problem that hackers are using to exploit Twitch that
No, this is just not true. What you're saying is wrong. So for God knows how many years they had a problem with their advertising, with their advertisement, like with people being able to just get around ads. And so for years we could use specific types of ad block and didn't have to watch ads, and it was really problematic. Twitter ran into the exact same problem, where Twitter, like literally the reason why their stock price dropped, it was the first stock that I ever lost money on. Well, I didn't lose because I just had to wait like eight months in order to get my money back. But like their stock plummeted because they were not able to generate revenue because they couldn't figure out how to get their targeted ads working. So like that was a really, really huge deal. I'm gonna say around like October of like 2019, right? So like the thing is, it's not just like, oh man, if this was our money, we would find a way around it. It's just these platforms are incredibly large. So when you're trying to find out ways of of just making sure that they're functioning, it's gonna be really difficult. Like it's a humongous platform. But as I've said before, and I don't think any person has ever challenged me on this, Twitch has always been really stalwart at dealing with hate raids and dealing with hate in general. They have always been at the forefront of that fight. So like I don't know, like just finding like a specific point in time when it's just like right now while we're in a downtime where it seems like the hackers found a way around it and trying to use that like to try to color the entire situation. It's ridiculous. They've always done a really good job about that. Like I don't know why anyone would complain about that. As someone who's been on this platform longer than all of you, they've always done really, really good about that. They have always been fighting it. And
I
they
was gonna
literally
say a
sued the guys
bias.
that did it.
He's
They literally
biased.
sued the guys that did it, and they're working on a patch right now. And then they're gonna find a way around it. Like right now, it's like, look, this is our platform, and right now people can like bots can exist, and they already created a thing where now you can like make it so that you have to have two-factor authentication in order for people to be able to chat and stuff, which is gonna be harmful for some of the viewers because some people are not gonna want to be able to do it. So, but they have to find a way, and they have. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they could have made that. That's something that the streamer, him or herself or themselves, have to implement themselves. It's a tool that the streamer has to implement instead of Twitch.
Because
It's
everybody
another
might
thing
not
they
want
could.
that on.
Well,
Duh.
Fanatic is right on this one when it comes to what, like, when it comes to exploiting like platforms. Like, he's right. Like, when they change something, when they fix this hate rates thing, people who are doing this are going to try to figure out another way to harass. Right?
We're not.
But
I'm finished. I'm finished.
I like there's like what Twitch can do is like continue to like fix these things when they come about. But the issue is more of the demographic on Twitch, and like how do you fix that? How do you change their minds? How do you make them not want to do this? Or how do you like prevent them from like those type of people from being on a platform in general? Like that's uh, I don't know. Right. All I can say is like increase the diversity on the platform, make it more of a normal thing for more like marginalized people to be included in the platform. Make it a thing where it's like I don't know, like
I mean that's
stigmatized. Like
that's necessarily what I'm advocating too. But like one of the biggest problems is that when they try to get women and black people to come to Twitch, they come and they leave, right? They don't stay. And part of that is the environment that exists on Twitch. And like one of the things I advocate for is that we try to improve that environment. There's lots of things they could do. They could collaborate more with like the very, very few larger black creators, right? Or even mid to small size black creators like Prime. Maybe Twitch could do something with Prime. That would be cool too, right? Like, there's a lot of things. There's a ton of things that Twitch could do on their end, right? To necessarily because like and maybe this is just like the way that I like view it, but like necessarily normalize being black on Twitch, not make it like a weird thing, right? And make it more acceptable for people like African Americans who look like us to be more comfortable on a platform like this. And the same thing for women, right? Like if we're saying that like the vast majority of viewers on Twitch are here to see like the top like 0.1% of Twitch streamers, right? Then like we only need one or two black streamers to make a big impact, right? A big, massive black streamers, and hopefully like we can. That's something that we can do, right? Like Twitch could like push people in that way. They could go to YouTube and find larger black creators and sign deals, right? I think they've been trying. I don't know. I'm not saying they haven't been trying. Like they've been doing. Like I said, they have like T-Pain. I think Logic was streaming on Twitch as well. A lot of African American individuals who they've probably paid a lot of fucking millions of fucking dollars to try to get on the platform. I just don't think the ways that they always do it are necessarily good. And I think part of the problem is, like Prime says, they advertise this as a gaming platform and then bring rappers on here, right?
But he plays games consistently. That's not the art.
But
It's
Twitch
not.
I'm not saying like specifically
It's
that's
not.
the problem,
It's
right?
not even. They didn't even bring T-Pain on. T-Pain started streaming from a hotel himself because he likes to play video games and he knew about Twitch himself. It's not that they just started partnering
maybe he
with
did,
him.
but
If anything, the person that they really did was Devin Nash, who really already had an established company. They literally paid him and gave him partner, even though he didn't really earn it. He himself said it.
There are two ways. There are two ways to get partner. One, there's the way that everyone you know is doing it. And then there's if you have an established presence, social media presence. Otherwise, like I don't know, like for instance, Pokemon. I don't know her trajectory, but let's say she started on YouTube, right? And if she had that established presence, she doesn't have to wait to get partner. They'll assume you're gonna bring in a whole bunch of people, so they'll give you partner through that, right? Once they know that that's your account, that's you, you've got like a huge following, then they'll do that. So
dude, they could snatch some black gamers off of YouTube and put them if that's the case.
And don't like T-Pain may have started streaming it by himself, but don't pretend like they throw millions of dollars to get them into their partner
we don't
program,
know that.
And which they can have the exclusivity clause that they give to every other fucking person on this platform.
Do you know that for sure? Do you know that for sure? Or are you just saying that? Are you assuming?
Why would they have to pay him millions of dollars to just give him access to a platform that's already existing?
Yeah, he already had. Just be his
what
name
Twitch
alone, his
does,
brand alone.
The reason Twitch pays so much, right, is they commit you. They try to commit you to a certain number of hours of streaming. They try to commit you to a certain number ads per hour or ads per. I think it's ads per hour, or ads per stream, and part of the Twitch, like, I mean, if you're an affiliate and you have a sub button, they signed the thing where like the content you create on Twitch is exclusive to Twitch for 24 hours, and they want all of that stuff to be true. And so they, of course, when someone like T-Pain comes in, or someone like Logic, or whatever massive streamer comes in, right? Massive influence from somewhere else comes in, they try to get you in that deal as fast as possible to make them money.
Right, but they don't have to pay you money in order to do that. Like, right? Like, it's just like, hey,
but they do.
Do you have any proof that they paid T-Pain in any capacity in order for him to have access to the platform that's already been established for God knows how long, that he was well aware
No,
of
they
before
didn't pay for him to have access to the platform. They paid for all the other things I just explained. Though.
What do you? No. They don't have to pay.
I mean, we can say that he
I'm
didn't get a
actually
paycheck, but
I'm actually partnered, right? So like I was probably partnered before any of you guys were probably even on this platform. They didn't have to pay in order to do that. They don't have to pay in order to do that. That is not an additional money. It's just part of the clause. If you want to make money from if you want to make money from the literal most lucrative platform in existence for this type of service, which is Twitch, if you want access to our platform, then these are the rules, and this whatever it is. They don't have to go out of their way in order to pay money to T-Pain in order to get him to do this thing that he was well aware of before he joined it. Like, I don't know what you're talking
if
about.
you don't think they do, then you're just
No. If you
They
have any,
100% do.
so Top Dolphin, once
Not
again,
for
you're
rap.
doing this thing now where you're talking out of the side of your neck with no proof whatsoever to
Hold
back
on.
up what you're talking
It's
about.
very,
You have
very
no evidence
well known
whatsoever
that
of
they
this.
sign massive to get people
For
into the
gamers,
exclusive.
for
But that doesn't mean
large content creators on all other platforms to get them to sign the Twitch partner
A lot of
agreement,
these-
right? Because of the exclusivity clauses, right? So some of the
Okay.
partnership agreements say that you can only stream on Twitch. Some of them say your content's only for 24 hours. There's lots of different agreements out there. Like, I mean, I'm not.
If I
gonna go,
Google this
like,
right now,
find-
Top Dolphin, am I going to make you look stupid again?
Wait, are you
sure.
Googling
You'll
if
make me look
T-Pain
stupid.
specifically does it?
Yes,
Yes.
specifically T-Pain, because that's the
Oh,
person
yeah,
that he's
I
been
don't think-
thinking about.
I don't know
think
about T-Pain
does it.
specifically,
Yeah, I
right?
don't
But
think-
I
Okay.
would guarantee you,
That's who
he
you literally
most
brought
likely
up.
did get a
No.
paycheck,
Please
right?
stop letting Top.
I will say that he probably got a paycheck.
No, okay.
But
As long as you're backing
but
down
in
from
general,
that.
this is something that they do.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright,
so
okay, we're
you
good.
literally
As long as
cut me
you know that
off
what
to
you're saying was not true, you're
speculate
backing down
about
from it,
stuff
we're
you
fine. We
don't
have to go
know
any further
about.
in it.
Fully.
I was just establishing the point, the fact that they're not going out of their way and just paying X amount of dollars to get people access to their platform that already has been like established for God knows how long. And I don't believe that they're paying T-Pain specifically. Like, hey man, you want access to our platform? Well, if you want that, you need to give us X amount, or we'll pay you X amount of money in order to do it. When it's like, well, we're going to make sure you get X amount of money.
Wait, they
by
don't
having
pay
that
him for
platform.
access to the platform. They pay him to sign a contract.
Okay,
There's
right.
no
Right.
terms that
So like, yeah,
benefit
we don't
Twitch.
know. We don't have
That's
any
what I've been
evidence
saying the whole
whatsoever.
time,
Right. I
okay?
got you. You're right. I'm sorry. I misspoke. Yeah. Don't get hung up on that. You didn't win there. So yeah, I'm sorry.
Sure.
We don't have any
Okay,
evidence
hold on.
whatsoever.
It's
We
not
don't have
like
any
I
evidence
didn't just talk
whatsoever.
about how
We
they
don't have
pay
any
him
evidence
to run so
whatsoever
many
that
ads.
they paid
They pay
T-Pain
him to
any
stream
money.
so many
And once
hours.
again,
Wait,
you're
wait,
lying
I'm-
and
Everybody
saying
there's
who comes on the
nothing-
fucking
can't
platform
substantiate
and comes
and
with a
hoping that
massive
nobody
bonus.
calls you out
That's
on it.
something that
And once
everybody
again, you're
knows.
wrong.
Whoever
And now
talks
you're
about
backing
this
it down
ever
after I
knows
called
this
you out on
exists.
it. Once again, you're a liar, and I can find the data right now to prove it again because you keep doing it. You keep
Sure.
making these points that you can't substantiate. You have no evidence whatsoever. And now that I called you out on it for T-Pain, now you're like, well, I'm not saying him
I
specifically.
guarantee.
Even though he was the guy that
Yeah,
decided
show
to
me
take
evidence
it,
that
you have no
T-Pain
proof
took the
whatsoever.
regular path
And
to partner.
again,
and
you're
a
right.
bunch
Okay,
of
you
You're
got it,
stuff.
you
asking
got
for
it,
the
you
numbers
got
that
it.
you don't
You got
have
it.
for it, and
You
you
got
don't
it.
have it, and I know it. You know you don't have
You
it.
got
Find me the
it.
numbers again,
Chris.
liar. Find me the numbers,
If you had
Chris.
liar.
thank you,
Chris has
Sure.
his hand up.
I for
Top.
me, I follow a lot of musicians who actually join the platform. A lot of them are already gamers. A lot of them start from the bottom, and because they have a huge following, it's easy for them to make their way to like partnership
So,
because
Chris,
like
can I
they
say
have
one
people.
thing?
You don't think
I was
Twitch
gonna
reaches
say-
out to
Hold
these
on,
people
hold
and
on,
gives
hold
them
on,
and
hold on.
has them gives them
Hold on, I
partners?
just- Wait. I just want to say what T-Pain said, right? Because a lot of people seem to be like trying to like say what the fuck is happening. T-Pain said, my manager was like, do you know how I can do this, says T-Pain, over the phone with MTV News. So my manager made a few phone calls to a couple of streamers. They came to my hotel room and they showed me how to get on Twitch. I played Doom Online and I fell in love with it immediately. So he's saying
Literally
that
what I
he
said.
wasn't paid by Twitch. He's saying that he asked a couple of streamers, how the fuck do I do it? And then he got on this platform and he became wildly popular. So there doesn't
Wait.
seem to be any
But
evidence.
wait,
that
but he
Twitch
has a
paid
check
was
mark.
gonna
next
say-
to it.
Top,
That's not how you get a fucking
Top,
check
can
mark.
you
Hold on,
please?
Can I?
Oh my goodness,
Can I
Top,
finish
you're not
what I was saying?
No, we're talking
I-
to Top Dolphin. I'm not asking you.
talking to
Did you
Top.
I
say
was
this,
talking.
Azzy? I'm talking to Top Dolphin.
We're already over this because we know Top, and Top is not substantiating that he signed an exclusivity thing. We're over that. It's done.
Wait,
I
no
hold on.
literally
exclusivity
said
thing.
that from jump.
Unless he got
on.
hold on. Unless he got a
please.
specific contract that says he didn't sign an exclusivity thing, every single Twitch partner contract has an exclusivity clause.
But no,
He
but
has
you
a
were saying he
partner
was
clause.
paid to
Why
stream.
are you-
You
why
were
are
talking
you
about
I'm
pushing
saying
so much?
most likely he got
but
a
you're just
specific
saying-
partner
Dolphin,
contract
that's-
that
Dolphin,
came
then
with
we
a
have to
signing
argue with
bonus.
you.
Given
We have
that
to argue
he
with you, and then you're
I mean,
wrong,
okay.
and then you're just like, oh,
No,
well,
no.
my bad, I didn't mean that. Not T-Pain, other
Wait,
people.
hold on. Wait, I said that most likely T-Pain has a specific partner contract that came with a signing
You
bonus.
are just
that requires
speculating.
him-
What is the point in saying this?
Yeah, what is this?
Because-
most
Top
likely?
Dolphin, once
because
again,
the
you're lying.
whole
Once again,
point was-
T-Pain came forward with a statement saying, like, hey, man, I'm a small streamer like everyone else. He literally already indicated that he wasn't specifically sought after. He was like, yeah, I'm a small-time streamer. And he got a lot of backlash for it because it's like, wait, you're not a small-time streamer. You're already like in the like top 1%. But he
literally
didn't have any
said
special
that.
deals with Twitch in order to get
Alright,
there.
alright.
And he thought that he was a relatively small streamer. So again, you're just lying. You're just saying stuff you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, you guys are just
You
so
are
like,
lying.
smart
Okay,
or
can I-
in the
can I
conversation.
finish what I
Can
was
we-
saying?
can we
Top
move
Dolphin,
on?
top it up
Okay,
the
I'm
side of
sorry.
his neck.
I will admit, T-Pain has the same exact partner contract as every other partner on Twitch, and there's no difference there. Okay, 100%. That's exactly the partner contract that he has.
All I'm saying, man, is when you walk up and you're like, yeah, I knew that couple, except the husband probably murdered the
Probably.
wife.
Wait,
Like,
hold on.
you can't.
What I'm
There's
saying
a
isn't.
gap.
Wait, hold on.
You
I'm
have no
not-
proof.
Wait. I'm not saying what he does is bad, but this is commonly known shit that Twitch does with all very, very large influences. They give them signing
Not
bonuses
all
to sign
of
partners,
them.
and they give them and give them
Not
better
waste
partner
time
contracts, and they
on
give
the
them.
top bait.
Name a time
This
where
is
that
dolphin bait. This is dolphin bait.
I had
Can we
somewhere I
move
was
on?
going.
Name a
Can I
time when that
finish what I was
happened.
saying?
Hassan Piker, he was a massive Twitch streamer already who signed a specifically lucrative partner contract that gave
Oh
him
my
a
God.
large signing bonus
So
in
did them
favor for
all,
running
bro.
a certain amount of. That's
So did
exactly
So did
thing.
Dr. Lupo.
That wasn't his
So
initial
did Tim the
contract. His
Tap
initial
Man.
contract
Yeah,
wasn't
and I'm
particularly
saying
large,
what Twitch
whatever.
can do
So that
is they
happened
can
much
target
later.
African American people
So,
with
so
those
what you're
contracts.
you're again you're
Like, I'm not
misconflating
even-
things.
I'm not
I
even
know
trying
what
to
I'm
say
talking about
anybody
as a
did
person who's
anything
actually
wrong.
into this.
I don't know
You
why
don't.
everybody's
The
pushing
thing
back
is,
so
what he
hard about
actually
this.
does is what Twitch
Not
does with all of
secular.
its partners, which maybe Top Dolphin just doesn't know this, but he's saying all these things that he doesn't know. I'll tell him something that maybe you can actually inform yourself, so you can stop talking out of the side of your neck. What they
Okay.
do is the larger you grow, eventually they do start giving you more exclusive bonuses. Every single person who's ever partnered on Twitch is assigned a specific manager, right? And it's not like the managers have like entire groups underneath them, right? And so then that manager, like the person needs to contact their manager to renegotiate their terms once they get to a certain level. It's all a negotiation practice. I can imagine Hassan Piker coming from like his privilege and his wealth from like young whatever, being able to have access to like more people and getting like whatever. And he stole a significant portion of Destiny's community like when he first started coming on. So he shot up really quickly. So he had really good numbers and really good metrics and really good trajectory. So he was able to say, hey, guess what? I'm on this platform and I'm doing these things and now I'm making you guys X amount of money. So then at that point, he can sign these things. But that's very, very different from the initial claim you were talking about people initially coming to the platform and seemingly being greeted by Twitch with these really lucrative exclusive whatever, which for the initial person you brought up was not the case. And now for the second person you're bringing up is not the case. That's not what's happening.
Okay.
I know you're just
anybody
wrong
that-
both times. Two for two, baby.
But this has been
Two
a
for
thing
two.
ever
You find
since YouTube
anyone that
started.
fits the
YouTube started
profile.
doing the exact same thing and
No,
started
no,
I
poaching people from
already
Twitch.
named.
Right.
I already named
no.
somebody. I already named somebody who fits the profile. I already said T-Pain started small. I said Devin Nash started off, and they gave him a contract because he had a significant.
But that's
influence.
something that they do. That's
That's
nothing
a-
different.
Yes,
that's what
that's
Prime
what-
laid out. But they
Yes.
didn't give them money.
Wait, that's
That's
what
not
I said.
giving
They
money.
do give
That's
them
just
money. Oh my. And depending on the contract, sometimes they give them large signing bonuses. That's what they do.
I don't know. I
It
don't know.
does not
I
really
don't
matter.
know.
And there's
I'm
nothing wrong with accepting
I'm
a
gonna-
signing bonus for signing a contract.
Chris.
I was trying to get into this, right? Where I said I follow multiple of these musicians and like streamers. There's a lot of famous people on Twitch who are like, don't get these like this. You don't just get a deal, right? With Fanatiq said it's completely right.
Thank
Right,
you.
a lot of people work from the bottom, right, and they don't have to work that long because they already have a following to go with.
They
A
have a
lot of this.
brand.
a lot of this is like these people already like gaming, right? They want to do this as a good business opportunity because they want to diversify their like income. So they jump on Twitch, right? They jump on, they get partnership really quickly because they have a huge following that they advertise to come watch them. You get to a certain point, and then like Twitch, like if you get high enough, you get big enough. Yes, like Fanatiq said, they start offering you these deals. You get to negotiate and whatever, right? Like there was a point in period of time where like when Facebook started coming up and like YouTube started like pushing for streaming, these companies are back and forth buying like streamers to come on their platform, but these are specific people, Shroud, Ninja, right? They were like targeting these streamers who already had huge followings as streamers to come in their platform. They weren't doing this with every famous person at all to any extent, especially not rap. I watched Schoolboy Q stream. He's definitely like not just offered money from Twitch just to stream. He's already seen like he already has opportunity to gain money from this just from his influence as a rapper. Just getting on Twitch, period. Telling his following he's on Twitch, and they'll get on and support. Twitch doesn't have to do anything. The part like
same
this,
thing with Bobby Fino. You're 100% right, Chris.
like this, yeah,
making this up.
This like
I'm okay. If you think that
All right,
every
Top,
like
you don't
famous
gotta
influencer
defend
or
it.
everything
You don't
has
gotta
like
defend
the
it.
same exact partner agreement as like someone
They
who
don't-
does the passive partner
never
and gets the
said somebody
75
has
No
the
one
viewers
is
partner.
saying
and
that.
applies
See, you
the
tried it
same way?
again, Top Top, and
problem.
we're not saying they have
We
the same
just-
partner
we-
agreement. What we're saying is that their initial contracts seem to be identical. When we looked at like someone like Deadmau5, he's like one of the largest and most successful DJs in existence. He joined this platform and he had the same partnership deal when he first initially started out as everyone else. Like it's just the way that they do things. Now, I'm not saying that they can never do this or they have never done this. I'm saying this is not the norm, and I'm unaware of any cases where it happened. And the examples that you brought forward were just wrong. Now, if you do have, if you do,
to be
if you
clear,
do have
you
an example to
haven't
give us,
disproved
please
any
give
of
me
my
one.
examples. You proved that they didn't pay him to start streaming on Twitch, but you
Which
did
was
not
your
prove
claim.
that they.
That was
Wait,
your
no,
claim.
I
No,
said they
you have
said
to go
no.
further.
Wait.
That was your
I
claim.
said they
You
can
said
do
all of
that.
our
No, you
time
said they
was
did do
that.
that. You said specifically
No,
with T-Pain,
I said they
did do
pay.
that.
I specifically said that they pay them
Okay.
for partner agreements, right? They pay them to sign the partner contract.
okay.
Okay, good. That's what you said. And they didn't pay T-Pain to do that.
You
They
haven't-
didn't
you
pay
haven't showed
Deadmau5
any
to do that.
evidence
They
of that.
didn't pay Hassan to do that. So now you're asking me for evidence of something that didn't exist.
Okay.
Hold on. We're not on the same ground
wait,
here.
hold
You
on.
cannot
This
ask
isn't
me
something
for
that
something of
people, like,
evidence of
make
something that
public.
doesn't
Okay,
exist.
okay,
In order for
I
you to
mean-
make this claim, you're making a claim they did something special for them with zero evidence to back it. I'm saying they're under the exact same contract
All
as
right,
everyone
guys.
else, and now
I
you're
guess we're
asking me
gonna
for
live in
evidence
this
to prove a
reality where,
negative?
like,
You know you're wrong, and you're walking
big
it back. Top,
influencers
top,
aren't
top.
getting
Stop
money
doing
from
it,
Names,
bro.
Twitch.
Come
Mighty-
on, baby.
Mighty
You're
Mouse-
doing over and over.
Mighty
It's
Mouse-
3 for 3
We
now.
If this is
got
the
it.
world
Three
we're
for
living
three,
in, I
baby.
agree with you.
We
All right?
got it.
You got me.
We
I have lost this
got
debate
it.
to
Can we
Fanatiq.
stop
Okay,
with the-
he's
Okay, great.
owned me
Okay.
I just wanna
significantly.
say-
Okay.
Mighty
Okay. Oh. Okay. We got it. Holy shit. All right. Well, this was a thing. This is this was the more chill subject. Ain't that right? Azzy.
I just don't understand how we
I-
can come
I
to close like
I don't.
these are easy.
Hey, Prime is trying to close us.
Yeah,
What is
man.
You know that, right? He's trying to close.
Okay. All right. So.
What the heck?
So, to my audience, we are going to continue on with the content. The content does not end here. We're going to go into our open walk-on panel in just a moment. First, I'm going to give an outro to these amazing individuals, but we do have more content. We're going to have another group of individuals coming, so stick around for that. We're just going to have an outro for these people. Before we do that, though, make sure you hit that follow button in case you haven't done so yet. If you're new here, you've been enjoying all this, hit that, or not, I don't care if you haven't been enjoying it, just hit the follow button. I don't give a shit. Just hit the follow button right now. Make sure notifications are on so you know I'm going live. I do 6 nights a week. Don't want you to miss out. X Match Boy Social and chat to join in our social media. So join into our Discord, which is the Heart and Soul community. That's where the open panel will be at, all right? That's where all our conversations are at, so be a part of the Discord. Jump into the Twitter for channel updates, and YouTube, very important. That's where you'll find the VODs. Miss anything, check out YouTube or the VODs. Like, comment, subscribe. All right, I'm gonna give an outro, but once again, the content does not end yet. So Azzy, oh man, you are no, you're the problem child of this particular panel. You
This is like
you bring out
How-
an energy.
I must, but I'm just like,
I-
why, bro? Like, this is like I didn't attack anybody, didn't say nothing that crazy, but just, people just continuously it's just people who just like the sound of their own voice and they just gotta speak, bro. Just like, come on, like this is easy. This is easy topics, very easy, very simple topics, and we just managed to just loophole and derail into non sequiturs and all this nonsensical stuff. Like,
Okay.
if only we listened to each other, bro. Honestly. Everything that was said in intros. I just don't understand.
Okay.
Anyway, follow me at AzzyOhm at Twitch. If you go to my profile, my Twitter is linked, my Discord is linked. If you want the Instagram, DM me. We can link up. We can go into mentoring, personal finance. We can look at the actual business model of Twitch and actually walk through the steps of why people say Facebook and YouTube is on the rise and Twitch needs to fix something. We can go through, do actual research, not on the fly. We can do actual research together. Thank you. Thank you, Prime. Please, if Top is here, Fanatiq is here, think twice about sending everybody, bro. This is crazy, dog. That's crazy. I love y'all guys, but y'all gotta chill, man. Y'all gotta chill.
Hey, Prime,
Don't
you're
worry
trying to
about y'all
close,
host.
guys.
What did you say?
I was telling them that you're trying to close.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know if you knew that.
So thank you for that. All right, let's go, Chris Cosmo.
Yeah, Chris. I'm Chris Cosmo. I'm gonna be on I am Raul's gaming show tomorrow, Friday. I have to look at what time. I completely forgot what time. I'll put the link in chat. But yeah, other than that, like this is fun as always. I love everybody here. So like I like talking to all of you. Yes, we can get like thrown down the weeds of some people's arguments sometimes. I think we're basically done with that specific conversation, so it needed to move places anyway. So I'm not mad at it. Other than that, like yeah, love all you guys, love people in chat. Come support me, come follow me, Chris Cosmo with the 0 at the end. Yeah, have a good night.
Okay, all right. Man. Let's go to GSU Gambit, who I was really happy to have here. Even though we only got you for half the time. You know, we always just, you know, you're a welcome part of this community. Always. So, GSU Gambit, yeah, tell a little about yourself.
Yeah, so I love these conversations, but today was particularly disgusting. As he talked about the advertising thing, you can go to the 2 hour and 36-minute mark where he's actually bringing it up to the platform. He later then says that he didn't bring up advertising at all. He also made the claim that Twitch is like specifically not trying to partner Black people and that this is the way that they want because they don't have the voices and they don't sound like the profile of people that Twitch wants. He says this in that conversation. When he's called on it, then he later says, then he later says, I never brought up any of this stuff. So what's happening today is people say wild,
this
salacious,
is so slimy, bro.
people say wild, salacious, dumb shit, and then when we address it, they say, "Oh no, I never said that." We see this Top Dolphin. He says that Twitch specifically paid T-Pain all of his money to all of the other shit. When we call out that it's pure bullshit, we go look up the statements from T-Pain. He then says, "Oh no, I'm not talking about T-Pain. I'm talking about in general." Then he mentions other people, so all of it's fake. So like, I really want us to get back to trying to have good faith conversations and not just saying dumb shit, and every time you're called on it, just pivoting away from it because you're wasting our time, you're wasting viewers' time, and most you're wasting Prime time. But if you want to follow me, you can drop exclamation point BBC in chat. I also recommend that you follow Sasha Gray. Sasha Gray is now a streamer, and she has some great content that she's produced in the past that maybe you should engage with too.
Random.
I really hope you got a dono for that one, Cam.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I'm not even streaming. I'm not streaming, so this is not performative at all.
Okay. All right. Well, why not? Thank you for that. I have also, you know, partaken in her content in the past. There's been some quality
It's
But
good stuff,
just,
man.
I just wasn't. I was gonna bring it up. Okay.
He's a great streamer. No, I'm saying her stream is awesome.
Yeah, you know, Adriana Chechnik. I forgot how to pronounce her last name, but she's also from the industry. She puts on a good show too. She's like a huge streamer here. There's a lot of former stars who are actually not bad. Good streamers.
Mia Malkova, right?
Mia
She's a
Malkova
streamer.
is there too. Adriana is bigger than her. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, she puts on a damn good stream. But they will never just talk to us. They will never talk to us. It's just not gonna happen. But stream. All right, let's go to. Sorry, I got lost in the sauce there. Django, Django. Thank you for being part of this and jumping in. Yeah, it was really fun having
Today
you.
was really fun. I think everyone, last time I did this, I don't think anybody here was the same except for Fanatiq screaming in all his 144p glory. But it's been fun. It's actually been really cool. I wasn't too strongly opinionated on these topics, but seeing everyone go back and forth, I started to build a little more backbone on some of these things. That was cool. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, next, Mr. Fanatiq. Bringing it today, as always. Things that's. Oh man, look, the fault lines are not where I thought they would be, but they were there, and Fanatiq is always there to exploit them. So, Fanatiq, thank you for spending some of your time here. I know you were previously busy, but you made time for us, and we do appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's really crazy. Today's a weird time in my life, but life is good as usual. God is great as always, and my takes are amazing. I feel like it's evidenced by the fact that I turned top dolphin into beach dolphin, and it was really, really cool because I feel like facts and data are always the most important thing right there. And I think my favorite moment of the day, after I came forward with all those numbers and statistics to prove that everything he had said was wrong, you could just see that nigga looking at his other monitor trying to find some data to contradict it before he just moved on. That felt particularly good. I did mention Deadmau5 earlier today because Deadmau5 happens to be pretty freaking amazing. And I want to point out that I also made a song that was very much based off of Deadmau5's The Velt. You can hear it. Here is a link. All it requires is a simple little follow on YouTube, and you can download the song for yourself. It's called Troika, and I think it's a pretty good song. That's what I really do is music. I've been making more pop music lately. I'm going to work on another song. I just composed a piano song yesterday. I'm dedicated to to someone important to me, and I think just overall, music is where I'm going to be headed, but also I'm going to be doing politics. So look out for me. I'll be on Jesse Lee Peterson's show on the 14th.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to probably practice with Destiny, I guess, to kind of prepare for that, because I'm not about to be embarrassed by Jesse Lee Peterson. But I will say one thing in particular. I'm going to be that nigga, right? Because I'm not one of them pushovers that's going to be sitting there listening to Jesse Lee Peterson go off on me while I'm sitting here answering his dumb questions like that are completely ridiculous and not go ahead and giving him that smoke. Y'all know who I am. That nigga gonna ask me the same stupid questions, and I'm gonna hit that nigga with that fire. I'm not the nigga. I'm not gonna be no pushover nigga like how Destiny was when he was on the show. Watch. Anyway, but y'all can follow me, twitch.tv/Mr. Fanatiq. Click that link to find some of my music. The name is on for music and everything else is under the name Fanatiq. Look at my YouTube channel, Ask Fanatiq. Dolphin, it's all love. I'm sorry I had to sun you three times. I was going for the Wendy's 4 for 4, but I didn't get a chance to it. I'm gonna go ahead and get some Wendy's right now to make up for it.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, just quickly, yeah. I'm definitely interested in your JLP, Jesse Lee Peterson. I'm not gonna say that. Jesse Lee Peterson debate. I'm really looking forward to that. I know you're gonna put up a damn good job. Hey, just randomly, did you ever do that one-on-one with Lauren Southern? Did that ever happen?
No, it didn't. You know what? It's my fault. We said we would do it, and then we just never really arranged it. I'll reach out back out to her and see when we can actually schedule the 1v1, because she did agree to that already. So I just need to find out when she has time.
Okay, all right.
But I'll try to do that for sure. I think like the week after the Jesse Lee Peterson thing. So the next week after the 14th, or maybe we can do it on Friday the 15th. I'll see. Whatever she's up for.
Yeah, I don't react to many things, but I probably react to like both of those things because I'm curious as to what you will bring. It's gonna be fire. Absolutely. So thank you for that. Next, Top Dolphin. Usually.
Yeah, you heard Fanatiq. The new name's Beach Dolphin.
I wasn't gonna say.
No, we got a lot. You know, I'll admit I am very bad at looking up stats on the spot. I did not find them. I still stand by everything that I said though. However, Fanatiq definitely performed better than I did today, and he made me look like a beach dolphin. And you know what? All love, because Fanatiq, you know, right now I'm listening to your song Aria. It's got me chill. I've had your music playing in the background on my stream all day because it's just been fire. And like, follow his music, man. But if you want to follow me for any reason, even though, why would you want to see a beach dolphin over someone like that who gets to see JOP? I'm twitch.tv/top dolphin. And I'll bring it a little bit more intense next time, Fanatiq. I'll get you next time. But you definitely got me. All right. All love though. I appreciate everybody. Like, no hard feelings. I always love coming on the panel. You're all great human beings. Okay.
And just for the record, Dolphin does always perform particularly well. Today was just not his day, but he's actually on point 100% of the time.
All right. Love, we're pulling it back again together, right? Azzy, do you feel the love too?
Oh, yeah, listen, bro. I'm here for you, Prime. I appreciate you. I listen. Nah, if I keep getting cut off to get these stupid points that were really stupid, Top, those were stupid points, and they were addressed very simply. You didn't need Fanatiq came out, and you didn't have to keep going, but you got sunned by Fanatiq multiple times, and I simply answered your questions very, very relaxed, but you kept on going, and I'm just like, after tonight, I'm like, yo, bro, what the heck was that?
I mean,
So,
I'll admit
yeah,
that I got
all
outshowed
love.
by Fanatiq, but I will not sit down and pretend like Azzy looked better than me tonight. That did not happen.
I want
okay?
see top. I want you to go and watch this VOD. Learn you something tonight.
Dolphin,
No,
you died
I
on
want
some.
you to.
You died on some.
I want
you died on some
Azzy
GSU, you came in midnight and started. Man,
I came in and responded to the shit that you said. I shouldn't have done that. You
You
know what? I would have been better off telling
Because I
Prime
didn't-
Time, no, tonight I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Nah,
Azzy,
man, you
I
came out
forgot to
with
go to
come
church
on,
this
nah.
Sunday. I'll go this Sunday, Azzy.
the
Okay, I'll go
GSU
to church. I
slime. The
promise you.
GSU slime
There's
was
the magic of it,
heavy,
bro. I told you I
bro.
could pull this off.
Okay.
I had that nigga in the top left muted the entire panel and never had to interact with him, and I was still able to perform and have a good time. You see, he just doesn't have to exist around me. It's so perfect. It still worked out. See,
You
it all
still
works.
think?
Told you.
Nah, that
Okay.
was crazy to me, bro.
All right.
That was crazy to me.
Okay. All right.
I love you, Fanatiq.
Okay, we're just gonna have to leave it at that. Though I would like GSU to appear on the open panel. Look. Maybe he's too busy. Maybe he's gonna be working on his own version of Twitch. So let's go.
I will try. I do have 2 friends trying to get me to go to a bar and drink right now. If that doesn't happen, I'll come on open. I promise.
Okay. All right. It was cool. All right. Enjoy your life, my friend. Enjoy your life. All right. So we are going to go on to open walk on panel right after this. But if anyone here wants to join us, we would love to have you. If not, that's okay. And you spend your time, your energy, your passion, and knowledge for my community. I know they appreciate just as much as I do. Have a good one.